Over 26. This is
the Bagger Podcast.
This is the Brunch Club.
Over 26. Welcome back to
The mics are closed.
Now, when you watch it, you'll understand.
What up? My name is Chaxy, the mastermind, your main guy, the Lord Chaxy, the brief from my eyes away. The amazing masters around, the whole gang is around. Episode 368. We are
my chick.
and it goes without saying, Sifuna is back. Over 2 years later. So the last time you were here was episode 149, and today we're recording episode 368.
You guys have done well, man.
Thank you so much.
You've done very well.
Yeah.
Asante.
In terms of building your brand, umefanya kazi poa tu.
Asante sana. Mwana mashida zenye tuko nazo saa hizi. Sasa
gani tena?
Si kama hiyo
Za kukosa towel.
That is not common to the podcast. That is just specific to Mwangi. Hiyo ni yako.
Hiyo ni household issue.
Pambana tu na issue yako hiyo. Yeah, but a lot has changed since the last time you're here.
Every to mob.
You know, and I'm just wondering, like in terms of siasa politically, has your ambition changed in the last 2 years?
Hey, dunia imechange bana boss. I don't know where to start. Vitu ngapi zimefanyika tangu 2024? In fact tulikuwa hapa before hata majenzi wa kuje bunge streets. Na tunafika hiyo anniversary I think next week 25th. So a lot of things have happened zenye zime fundamentally change the country, unaona. So tumekuja 2025 mdosi wangu akadai Oktoba. Unajua sasa baba alikuwa akikuwa pale, unajua kila mtu sasa alikuwa anajua at least uko na cover. Wazee tulifunuliwa hivi tu sasa tukabaki tu hivyo. Sasa watu wanasema you need to step up to leadership nini. Tumekuwa na mizozo kwa party, kuna time wamejaribu kunifukuza, tuko kotini. Vitu mob zimefanyika. I think sasa tabidi tu ulize swali specific.
Tuende nazo.
Vitu zimekuwa mingi zimefanyika.
Personal life, anything that has changed since?
Unaniuliza kama nimepata mtoto mwingine?
Yes.
Na bado kabla tufukuze Kasongo kuna michezo zingine hatufanyi. Tutarudi hizo magames akishatoka.
Hutaki kuambiwa amlie tuko like we.
Alafu ameweka ushuru kwa kila kitu mpaka diaper bro. Achana hiyo vitu.
Wenye wako na watoto Nairobi na respect. Tafari kuna watatu.
Hey, boss.
very active.
Hao ndio wale Illuminati tunaambiwa. Kuna pesa ya kuzaa.
Baphomet. And then I think also the other thing imekuwa the mimi ndio Sifuna. And I'm just curious, like how do you interpret that statement and what does it mean to you?
Hiyo kitu bado kuelewa ni ngumu, but I think people are identifying with a certain cause, I think. But imekuwa kitu humbling sana, unajua. Kama leader, especially political leader, ukiona watu wana identify na wewe ni kitu yani inakupea feeling mzuri sana. Inakufanya usikie yani mko wengi actually, because one of the risks za siasa unajua ukikuwa peke yako hapa juu ni rahisi ugongwe from the patch na hiyo story yote movement mzima inaisha. So just going around the country ukisikia watu wanajiita sisi ndio Sifuna inakupea confidence pia hata wakikuangusha. As in at the end of the day it's a movement, it's not about one individual. Watu watabaki wataendelea tu na hiyo movement wasukume mpaka its logical conclusion. So it has been very very humbling. Kuna watu wana identify na zile vitu tunasema vile nchi inaweza kuwa different, unajua, because it doesn't have to be like this. Yani kama sahi it is one of the most difficult times ya kukua kiongozi wa upinzani. Juu sasa unajua wananchi wanategemea sisi tupige kelele juu ya some of the things, tujaribu kustop gava kufanya vitu zingine. But huyu jamaa anatufanyisha job ngumu bana. Juu unamkanga kuna vitu 10 unafaa uongelele. Unaona wanasema Sifuna, huyu jamaa amenyakuwa Nairobi National Park, amehamisha orphanage, ameweka parking. Yani literally ile ngoma walikuwa wanasemanga paving paradise to put up a parking lot. Anaifanya sahi. Unaamka kesho yake unasikia ni Uhuru Park. Wanataka kukata sijui wajenge nini. Sijui barabara. Watu wa Green Belt ndio hao wako na wakesi wanasema Sifuna pigeni kelele. Kabla umalize hiyo unasikia Ebola. Kabla umalize hiyo sijui watoto wamechobeka shule. Sijui sha imeibiwa. Yani boss haifai kukua hivi. Unajua kuna watu wao huamka tu asubuhi wako na ile creative mind ya evil. Unajua creativity yao ni ile side ya kuumiza watu. Mzee anaamka anafikiria leo watu naweza sema nini Chaxy alie leo. Naweza mfinya wapi? Unajua kama wewe sahi anaweza amka tu a band ready. ile kilio itakuwa hapa aseme kila mtu usipokuwa na kichana unaenda jela. Unashida ujamaa yani nini? So leo watu wanaamka wasema Sifuna hizi ma speed limit za Nairobi ameamka ameka sijui 50 kila. Yani tu they are so intrusive. And tunaambia watu yani it doesn't have to be like that. Unaweza actually tafuteni tu mtu akona roho safi. Hata kama hata amka kujenga kitu, hata amka kukuumiza. Unajua yani tunajaribu kuexplainia watu that things can be different. Huyu Ruto tukimshamtoa kwa ofisi 80% ya shida zetu zinaisha juu after all yeye anamkanga tu kufikiria ataumiza aje wa Kenya. So kama juzi tumeamka tumeambiwa unajua sasa ukisikiza kama watu wako employed. Watu wako employed kwanza ndio watu wanalia sana hii Kenya because wamekewa maushuru mpaka yani kila mahali. So one of the things tumekuwa tukidiscuss kama sasa sisi watu wa Linda Mwananchi tumekuwa tukisema we need to review hizi tax policies zenye ameweka. But kitu anafanya kuensure ya kwamba hatutaweza kufanya any changes. Ameleta hii kitu inaitwa securitization. So basically anaenda anakopa pesa on the promise ya kwamba pesa ya housing levy itaenda kulipa hiyo deni. So hata ukikuja huwezi kuitoa kwa sababu iko already security. Unaona it's charged to a loan. Yani unashindwa sasa ujamaa yani yeye ufikiriaje? Unaona?
You know sometimes unamkanga unasoma headline mpaka unazima simu tu.
I'm telling you, kila siku headline ni kilio. Kama sio watu hiyo wamechomeka mahali, unasikia kuna watu hiyo wameabductiwa, wanapata 1 year old unasikia amepatikana ameuawa. Yani security yote imecollapse in such a way that hawezi fuata vitu kama hizo wazizuie. Lakini unasikia Murkomen anasema ati yeye anajua pale Sifuna analala, time nalala na time na watu nalala nao. Yani amefocus security intelligence yetu kwa politicians. Unaona? Lakini badala atumie hiyo capacity kufuata wahuni kwa sababu sisi si wahuni ama sisi si ati magaidi. Lakini wamefocus hiyo attention ya state kwao. So wanatufuata, wanaangalia umekuwa na nani, umeongea na nani, simu zetu ziko tapped. Boss, yani ni kilio kila mahali. So tulikuwa church nyingine hapo inaitwa AIC Chanda last week Sunday. Jamali tupatia verse moja hapo.
Mnapenda makanisa anyway.
Lazima uweke Mungu mbele bro kwa sababu hizo challenges tuko nazo hata nyinyi mnatuonanga hivi.
Lakini si pia Ruto aliweka Mungu mbele.
Sasa yeye alikuwa na Mungu mwingine. Sisi ule Mungu tulikuwa tunasomea wa hiyo AIC Chanda alisema when the wicked are in power. Watu ni kilio kila mahali. But when the righteous are in power, unasikia the people rejoice. Unaona? So tukauliza sasa huyu Ruto ukisikia jina yake, what comes to your mind? Unaona? Ni kilio tu throughout. So anyway, sisi tunazidi kujipanga because we can hear what the young people are saying. And it's not just about positions, Chaxy. It's about kuna some basic changes lazima tufanye. Unaona? Watu wanataka kuishi kwa nchi iko free. At the end of the day, we just want to be in a free country. Hatutaki tuambiwe kila yani gava iko in our business kila mahali. So tukiambia watu for instance it is not about hizi vitu wanasema amejenga. Seme hakuna mtu anakataa kuna stadium pale Ngong Road inajengwa. Lakini ukumbuke hata hii Kasarani tulijengewa na Moi. Lakini niulize tu saa hizi mtu gani anaweza taka kuishi ile life tulikuwa tunaishi under Moi? Hata hii kitu mnafanya hapa ingekuwa hapa. Kwa sababu tulikuwa na station moja ya baba na mama. KBC tungekuwa KBC saa hii na mkisema kitu mbaya ukitoka hapo unaingia Nyayo House hapo basement.
Na TV ilikuwa inafungwa.
TV ilikuwa
10 ama midnight.
Ilikuwa inafika midnight TV imefungwa. Na ikifunguliwa inaanza na mtukufu rais. As in tulikuwa tunaonanga picha yake hapo kwa nini? For like a whole 3 minutes. Mtukufu rais Daniel Arap Moi. Mnasema nini bana? So ile life watu wanatuambia wanataka kuishi ni different kidogo. Tunataka zile values za katiba. Ziko hapo na inaanza na human rights by the way. Wanasema 6 fundamental rights. Inaanza na human rights. Unaona? Tunaenda democracy. Democracy iko na pillars zake, freedom of speech. Si atu kitweet kitu ati jamaa amejama na kuchukua. Unaona? Haya, tunaingia equality. Tunataka sisi wote tuishi maisha same. Yani at least before the law and vile governor to treat everybody kukuwe na equality. Kuna kitu inaitwa social justice. Kujaribu kuleta balance. Kuna watu wenyewe marginalized wamekuwa marginalized traditionally over the years. So
kama sisi wa Kuria bana.
Sasa unaona kama hata sikuwa najua wewe ni Mkuria. Sikuwa najua. Unajua sasa hapa tuongeangi mambo ya tribes zetu. Unless sasa mtu kama mimi juu mapua inani give away. Kila mtu anajua mimi ni Mluya. So kuna vitu kama hizo, alafu to make sure kwamba kuna kitu inaitwa rule of law. Unajua rule of law, hizi vitu watu wanaonanga ni kama concept zenye ni abstract, but ni responsibility yetu sasa kama viongozi ku-explain rule of law inamaanisha nini. For instance, kitu basic kama right to property, watu kila mtu aheshimu property yake. Si ati msane za ingia tu hapa saa hii abebe kamera zenu aende. Unaona? Haya, uko na piece of land uko Kuria. Inafaa kukue na title moja peke yake. History ya mtu mwingine ati Sifuna anatokelezea yeye ni senator, unasikia kuna title yake. Mkienda kotini, huyu anakuambia hata judge akisema hii shamba ni ya Chaxy ama ni ya Mwass, mimi kwa sababu ni Sifuna na kuambia mambo ni matatu. Mambo ni matatu. Utatoka ama uende Zayuni. So history ya mambo ni matatu hii ya Ruto hii. It is disobedience of the rule of law, kwa sababu hata wanakuambia court order. Unaenda unapewa court order, mtu anakuambia hiyo ni yako. It's just a piece of paper. So we need to return the country back to those values. Governing by those values too. Now, I'm telling you, everything else will fall in place. Yeah.
So I think I want to structure the conversation we'll have today, maybe from your point, ya Baba. It's been 7 months since he passed on. Kwanza, how is the family doing?
Our family is doing well. As far as I can tell, Mama has settled into her new role at UNEP. I met with Winnie at the burial of Senator Nyonka's mom. I haven't spoken to Junior in a while, but I think he's fine. I've seen him up and about. And they are still processing the loss because, Baba was such a central pillar, not just to the entire country, but also to the family. I got opportunity in January to go for his birthday celebration at home. I think that's the last time we were with Mama at home. And it was quite surreal going into that home without him. And then we got opportunity before we did our rally in Kisumu to go to Bondo. And we had come from Vihiga. So tukafika pale Bondo bana, naangalia hiyo, unajua hiyo slab ukiwekewa hapo juu. Nashindwa bana, Jacob, unafanya nini hapa bana? Twende kwa sasa tunazunguka huko Kenya tukisumbua watu. So before hiyo rally tukaenda Kisumu, nikamshow boss, mimi nataka tuende na wewe Kisumu bana. Na alikuja. Spirit ya baba tuliingia tu hivi Kisumu town na tukaona enyewe mzee ako na sisi. So the family is doing well. The party not so well. Some of us not so well as well. But we have to move on. Kupreserve hiyo legacy yake ni kujaribu kusukuma zile vitu alikuwa ana believe in. Na me personally I feel kwamba unajua kwa matanga yake kuna promises nilimake pale. Nilimwambia itakuwa mimi kuvuruga chama yako. Ni wao wamenivuruga basically. And I feel like I've kept my promise. Hata nilienda venye nilikuwa hapo tunaongea na yeye, namwambia boss, me I've kept my promise. I have tried my best in very difficult circumstances to try and keep the party together. But there are people who have taken a different direction. Their philosophy is they believe that the party is better served being in government, quote unquote.
It seems like Winnie is taking a backseat from politics. Is it like a personal choice?
I don't know, because I've not had that conversation with her. But I think as time goes by, because she has she's a politician, basically. She's her father's daughter. So I'm sure she will be making her positions clearer as we get to the elections and what she wants to do herself.
Is it over for DM?
I don't know.
As we know it?
I don't know. I mean,
it looks like.
I don't know. It is for you people to judge. Just that the character of the party is no longer recognizable. Because we are the party of those things I'm talking about. We are the party of freedom. What was ODM known for? It was known for fighting for those values of a constitution. If you look at the constitution of ODM, actually the national constitution was borrowed heavily from the ODM constitution, because that is who we are. If you look at the values of ODM, the constitution of ODM starts by recognizing the supremacy of the membership. Our national constitution starts by recognizing the supremacy of the people, and that in everything that you do, you have to put certain values ahead of you. So it is for everybody else to judge. Me personally, because I'm in the midst of the storm, so to speak, it might be difficult for me to render my own judgment. But the truth is, the party is unrecognizable. There is no way, for instance, any member of ODM can feel proud with some of the things that this government is doing and claiming that you are partners with these people, How do you sit in a government, for instance, that can tear gas a church, and we are the party of freedoms? How do you sit in a government, for instance, if you saw how the cabinet secretary of of Health spoke in Parliament just this week.
About Ebola.
About Ebola and telling us, you see, hiyo kiburi ya Duale ndio hallmark ya hii serikali. Na ndio itaileta chini. Even in 2024, watu hao vijana walitokea kwa streets juu ya nini? Juu ya kiburi. Wanataka kuleta bill for instance ilikuwa ya finance bill hiyo time. Watu wanawaambia sisi hatusupport hii kitu. Wanatuambia mpende msipende. Hiyo language ya mpende msipende. It is actually going against the constitution kwa sababu katiba inasema the people are supreme. So Duale anakuja bunge anasema na anaambia wabunge hii kitu hatuendi kuconsult, hakuna haja ya public participation, and yet Ebola ikitokea hapa Kenya ni sisi tunaenda kufa. Unaona? So ODM katiba yetu inasema the people are supreme. Wananchi wakikataa kitu na tena lazima mconsult. Hii kitu inaitwa public participation. It's born from the ODM values. Unaona? So uwezi kuniambia wewe unaweza kaa kwa gava yenye inasema hatuconsult watu, si tukishalipwa pesa. Unajua huyu Ruto by the way akipewa tu dom mzuri anatuuza si wote. Hata tuuza.
Kuna msali Twitter akasema most likely later Ruto alicall Trump akamwambia leta
ikikeni. Sai boss akipewa do, haki ya Mungu ndiye alipeleka soldiers wetu Haiti juu ya do. Sai amekubaliwa Ebola center juu ya do na conventional wisdom inasema containment ya kitu contagious kama hiyo ifanywe on site. So US wangechukua hiyo pesa wapatie gava ya DRC. Kama nimeona juzi news I think wa Chinese wametuma experts wao huko Congo. Wanawatuma ndani ku grow capacity ya
the pandemic. The bigger conversation mbona inasongeshwa? Si hapo mahali iko tu ifanye.
I mkwe mna transport hawa watu because the more movement ya our patients the greater the risk ya contamination. So ile kitu ilifaa ifanyike, DRC wangepewa lockdown yao. DRC wapewa lockdown yao. In fact kama the mistake tulifanya hiyo time ya COVID ni kuallow watu wa travel. Lockdown ingekuja mapema kidogo, we would have saved more lives. So you can't tell me that the party is the same. Ati saizi ati wanatumia sijui pesa ngapi kumobilize watu wa kujerali Kisumu. Kisumu bro. Kisumu ni bedrock ya Raila ni bedrock ya ODM. Ile place wewe tangaza tu utakuja time fulani na utakuta watu wa Kisumu watakuwa wamefika. Sasa jamaa wameenda kutoa watu mpaka huko kwenu huko Ushago huko Kuria. Migori Isebania kwa boda huko wanawaingiza kwa baba wanakuja rally ya Kisumu, and yet Kisumu alone town tu hata wacha kabla ufike huko Moroni na places zingine na Ahero town peke yake inatosha kujaza. Na tuliwa demonstrate ya kwamba for as long as you are speaking the language of the people will show up for you. So whether ODM is done or not, it will be something that the public themselves what a measure and going into the elections of course tutajua.
But sasa so we've elected you guys. And then by extension also the MPs in parliament, because now you're the SG, you speak on behalf of the party.
Yes.
So kama nyinyi mna complain and we've given you all the power to represent us. Sasa mnataka sisi tufanye nini? Because if Duale can come in parliament where the people we've elected to represent wako huko naongea hivyo, so what are we supposed to do? And we've given you all the power.
Exactly. So hiyo swali mimi ulizwa sana. Na nataka nikuexplainie Chaxy, hakuna bunge Kenya. Because mtu kama huyo Duale ilifaa akitoka hapo hivyo parliament iko na power ya kumuimpeach yeye kama Duale.
But so why hasn't it happened?
All these MPs nitakuexplainia kwa nini, because all those MPs kwanza walibaiwa na national executive. Ile kitu Ruto amesucceed kufanya ni kudestroy hiyo kitu inaitwa checks and balances. Unaona? Juu sasa yeye mkitaka kuimpeach Duale ni anawaambia hapana, huyu ni jamaa wangu, wachaneni naye. Na nitakupea the best example ilifanyika hiyo finance bill ya 2024. Ruto ndiye alikuwa amesema, nakumbuka kiongea I think alikuwa Narok. Akasema tunataka kuona mbunge gani huyo atapinga hii bill. Unaona? Na kuna njia zenye wanafikianga hawa MPs. Sisi wote tunajua hiyo hapo kwa hiyo parliament. Wanafikiwanga, wengine wanatishwa, wengine wanaambiwa utaangushwa kura, wengine because presidency iko na power zake, anaweza kusimamisha miradi zako kwa constituency. Kama alikuwa amekupea project ya barabara.
Because constitution yetu doesn't give the president such power.
That's what I'm telling you. Hiyo power haiko kwa constitution, ni power ingine tu iko hapa chini. Unaona? Ule ni unamuonanga saa zingine anaenda place kwa mfano. Anaambiwa hapa hatuna dormitory. Anasimamanga anasema tutapatia yeye shilingi 1,200,000 tujenge dormitory. Hiyo pesa inakuanga imetoka wapi? Yet kwa katiba mtu wako na power ya ku make budget ni nani? Ni parliament, ni National Assembly. Unaona? So huyu jamaa Duale akishaongea hivyo na ameongelesha elected representatives wa wananchi, if we had a functional parliament tungeleta censure motion against him na tumtoe.
So then why is parliament still in place?
So that's what I'm saying. In fact, tukienda kwa uchaguzi hii 2027, ile kitu watu wanafaa ku understand, we need to emancipate parliament kwanza. Mukisha save parliament, and that's why naambia vijana, maze simameni kura kuanzia kwa MCA mpaka kwa MPs mpaka kwa senators, kwa sababu that is where part of the problem is. Ukikuwa na parliament yenye inaanzaambia president hapana, on this one we are going to put our foot down na you're not going to get away with this. Hakuna kitu atafanya, unaona? Lakini kitu ya first alifanya akichaguliwa ni kwanza, unajua Azimio ilikuwa na the majority number of members of the parliament in the National Assembly. Kitu ya kwanza alifanya ni nini? Alinunua numbers, alinunua members wa Azimio, alianza na zile vyama ndogo. Akachukua ile UDM ya wale watu wa Northeastern, walikuwa na MPs kama 12. Akajiongezea side yake. Alafu Wetangula anatoa decision anasema majority side ni nani? Majority side ni wao Kenya Kwanza. Ndio maana kinaichungwa wako hapo majority side. Majority leader na koti hata ilishaamua. Majority leader wa sahi anafaa kuwa kutoka side yetu ya Azimio. But I'm telling you, everything is in shambles kwa sababu hakuna rule of law, ile kitu tumezungumzia tukianza. So it becomes very difficult. Hata naona watu wanasema Sifuna wanakujanga hapa kwa social media ku complain na si impeach Ruto. Namuuliza,
but it's valid because how come none of the ODM MPs has filed an impeachment motion?
ODM gani bro?
Okay, tuseme ODM gani? Okay, actually, acha tufanye count. So at by year 2022 general elections, MPs UDA ilikuwa na 138, ODM ilikuwa na 89.
Yes.
Governors UDA had 21, ODM had 9. Senators UDA had 18, ODM had 16. Then women reps, UDA had 15, ODM had 8. Okay, so then what percentage of these guys acha tuseme tu linda Mwananchi?
So
same hata MPs out of the 89 ODM MPs, how many can you confidently say wako on the people's side?
I think mumewaona wenyewe na mnajua we are less than 20.
So out of our less than 20 hakuna hata basi hata mmoja mwenye anaweza sema, because the thing is afadhali iende fail then nothing is being done. Because sasa nyinyi mkicomplain mnataka sisi tufanye nini? Because we've given you the powers though.
To complain, tuna paint the correct picture for you. Unaona Chaxy, kuleta tu impeachment motion, kuileta tu, you need 1/3 of the National Assembly, which is over 100 members of parliament. Siku ile ODM ilikuanga ODM. Na nitakupea example ya finance bill ya 2024. ODM members of parliament, wote except watu, I think 8 of them, wali vote no to the finance bill. Because that time, ODM was still ODM. Nakumbuka nikiandika barua kama SG, kwa sababu watu waliniambia hata this time ku-abstain ama kukosa hiyo debate ni makosa. They were all present on the floor, Chaxy, because ODM was still ODM. All of our 80 plus members of parliament voted against that bill. That was before ODM was co-opted into government. Right now, bro, unatoa up hizo numbers. And that is what I'm telling you. Hii kitu si ati mnasema ati tujaribu hata ifail. Hakuna. Because with every attempt ya kuwinda mnyama usipomget, you're actually strengthening that person. Unaona? So ile kitu sisi tunataka kuwaomba ni when we speak about these things, we are painting for you a picture so that you can make corrections in the election. And also sometimes I feel that wananchi wenye wanapiganga kura pia wanataka kuabdicate role yao. Wanataka Sifuna afukuze Kasongo instead of us to ati ni muimpeach. Na Chaxy, hiyo impeachment lazima ianzie National Assembly. Unaona? Uko National Assembly kupata 100 plus members of parliament sahi wenye wanaweza sign your motion. Alafu utupate 2/3 majority ya kumtoa. Bro, utatoa wapi? Senate pale si tunakaanga tunangojea hawa jamaa wafanye. And it's the same even with governors. Governors lazima assembly impeach. Sasa unakuta MCA hajawahi hata draft to impeachment motion, lakini kwa Twitter yeye ndiye analia kila siku. Sifuna, kwa nini huja impeach Sakaja? Naambia boss umlete basi. Umlete.
I was having a conversation with Marara. And tulikuwa tunasema this is an example of, imagine when you were kids. Umetoka shule umeenda home. Then your dad comes back after kazi. Then anakuja na uliza tunakula nini leo. Sasa wewe ukituliza tunakula nini leo? So I think sisi sasa citizens tumejipata hiyo position yenye the people we ask to represent us Because ideally, tunasema all of us can go to parliament. So we pick a certain number based on the constitution, then they are supposed to speak for us.
I agree with
Sasa watu mwapatia hiyo kazi, wana complain to us.
Actually, sio wote wana complain kwenu. Ni sisi wenye tuko bado na wananchi ndio tunaongelelea hizi mambo. Wewe MP wako anaitwa nani? Wa Ushago?
Anaitwa
Kitayama. Ama Robi.
Yes,
Kitayama. Where does Kitayama stand on impeachment of Ruto?
Of course, ako in support of the government.
Correct. Tunaweza end around the room. Wewe, MP wako?
Kiambu.
Githunguri. Ama ni wapi?
Huyo
sema tu constituency nitakwambia.
Constituency yangu
Kiambaa bana.
Unaona?
Kiambaa. Hata ujui. Uko Kiambaa.
Wewe MP wa Kiambaa anaitwa nani Wambu? She's not a lady. Kiambaa constituency ni. So, unafaa uulize huyo mtu mwenye wewe unasema huyo
Wanjiku.
Kawanjiku. Anaitwa Kawanjiku. Ako side gani?
Ya gava.
Anaweza leta motion. So wewe unasema mimi Sifuna na complain. Kawanjiku ashai complain. Because there is a difference between me and Kawanjiku. Yeye ana support kitu different na mimi na support kitu different. But my role as an elected representative, msikuwa mnaona nikaa ati Sifuna analia. Hapana. We have to paint a picture for you because we are under just slightly over 1 year to the general election. You need to remember kama hawa Gen Z, nafurahi sana kwa sababu wanatuambianga wameweka record ya wale watu wote walivotia hiyo finance bill. Kwa sababu ndio hiyo kiburi ndio tunataka tumalize hii Kenya. Si uwezi kuwa representative wangu na nikuambie saa hii Sifuna enda uimpeach Ruto na nikatae. Mimi akiletwa bunge na nimesema publicly akikuja Senate na muimpeach, there is 1001 grounds ya kumuimpeach. But siwezi anzisha impeachment kwa sababu katiba inasema lazima nikae hapo ningoje. Namba za watu wangu wenye wana support Linda Mwananchi, I admit ya kwamba hatufikishi 100 members of parliament. So mkiniambia atijaribu tu hata ikifail, that is not a philosophy, bro.
But also, I think the other thing that I think is false ni when it's made to look like all these things happened after Baba died. Because when Baba was still alive, there's so many members when they were directly elected through ODM, when you already walikuwa na place at the government. And even when Baba himself took ODM into government. And even after June is a protest, unakumbuka even people online walikuwa kuna at some point guys were saying wewe tuachie tupigane. Then at some point Baba again goes in bed with the government, which we as the people tulisema tutaki move. But Baba still did it.
So let me tell you, unajua hiyo period ya maandamano ya 2024 ilikuwa a very delicate period for the country. Mimi nilikaa na mzae. Of course mimi I was never for that issue ya kusupport William.
Nakumbuka.
But
then ukatuambia party position. Sikiliza mimi I think ulikuwa naivasha mahali.
Because let me explain. Unajua
uleko sana Baba Geo story.
Maramob boss. Maramob sana. Nitakupa example, unajua sasa umeni distract. Unakumbuka history ya Dani for instance. Jacob alikuwa ameshika nare mbaya sana. Anasema nyinyi mnapiga kelele. Hiyo time ilikuwa mimi na Onyonka tunasema hiyo story ya airport hiyo wananchi wamekataa. Anatuambia unajua you guys are dissuading investors from coming to the country nini, and it was public as in these things are there in exchange. Nitawapea story moja. Hiyo time alianza kwanza ati kuongea story ya Dani, tulikuwa Mombasa. Tulikuwa tumefanya meeting ya NEC. Alafu mtu akanitumia text National Executive Committee ya chama ya ODM. Mtu akanitext hapa akaniambia na hawa journalist wanauliza hii press conference ya Baba anafanyia wapi? Nikamuuliza press conference gani? Ati Baba anataka kuongea kitu ya Adani. Nikamwambia kweli? Nikakuja nikakaa hapa kando yake vile nimekaa hapa. Kama mkutano unaendelea. Nikamwambia boss, hiyo vitu yenye unataka kusema usemei hapa kwa sababu itasemekana ni kwamba ati ni position ya ODM. Anasema I don't care. This is my position. This is something I feel it's okay if you don't want me to do it here, I'll go and do it there. Nikamwambia sawa Jacob, enda ufanyie huko. Na akakubali. He went and alafu sasa hawa jamaa wengine wenye walikuwa kwa meeting, because hawakujua nini inaendelea. Venye alitoka wakamfuata tu. Wakajikuta wamesimama nyuma ya mzee anasoma statement yenye hawajui inatoka. Na mimi if you look at those videos, I was not in that press statement and I was in Mombasa hapo kwa hiyo hall. Nikamwambia mzee mimi count me out ya hiki kitu. Na nikamexplainia the reasons why tulikuwa tuna object. Tukamwambia wewe ndio ulitufunza ya kwamba hata kama project inakuja kutubenefit lazima ifanywe kulingana na standards fulani. Number 1 inaitwa transparency. Unaona? Hii kitu inaitwa privately initiated proposal. Si kitu tunaingiza tu kwa desk ya mtu, alafu yeye anafanya tu ati mnafanya watu wawili. Hapana, kama airport inafaa ijengwe. If you look at that law ya private partnerships inasema kwanza Kenya mzima, actually dunia mzima inafaa ijue Kenya has the following priority projects na tunatafuta partnership. Tuweke hapo airport, tuseme tunatafuta Malaba dualization, tunataka kuextend SGR fike Malaba. So that is the law. So hata tukiwa kwa meetings na yeye namwambia wewe Jacob, unasemanga wewe ndio uliandika hii sheria, anasema aliitoa Gujarati sa ule Modi alikuanga regional nini hapo governor. Nikamwambia si uliandika hapo, lazima kukuwe na hiyo transparency. Na after kuvurugana hiyo yote, by the way, niliona venye Mbadi aliingia hapo kwa treasury. Siku hizi wanaandikanga kwa gazeti, wanasema within 7 days, kuna guidelines hai. Within 7 days ukipokea privately initiated proposal, inatakana upublish Kenya mzima ijue tumepokea mtu anasema anataka kutujengea airport. Alafu tuangalie what are the concerns. Unaona? Hii kiburi hii ya kusema tunafanya whether mpende msipende ndio shida. I remember even the day Adani was being cancelled, because I was a member of the energy committee. I still am a member of the energy committee. Tulikuwa meeting na huyu CS wa energy anaitwa Wandai. Akijipiga kifua, and that is the day
jamaa wenu tu bado wenu.
That is the day Adani had been indicted, I think in the US. So ako hapo anasema even with that indictment we are not going to cancel these contracts. Afternoon president aka-cancel hizo contracts. Unaona? So what was the original question?
So mimi nilikuwa nimesema originally
so hiyo story ya kuingia kwa gava,
issues za kuingia kwa gava hazijaanza juzi. Zilianza kitambo, and we could see
hiyo period ya 2024 Chaxy ilikuwa period moja delicate sana. Venye jenzi walikuja wakaingia bunge, by the way, my MPs wakahepa, au my MP walikuwa wanajipiga kifua, ungewaona huko kwa basement wamejificha, kama sitaki kutumia jina mbaya watakasirika. But hao wenye walikuwa wanajipiga kifua wakisema not even a comma is changing, walikuwa wanatolewa pale na ambulance. Wanaogopa wananchi, you know, because you know when you are in that space unafikirianga you cannot be gotten to. Sasa wakafikiwa untouchable. You feel untouchable, wakafikiwa. And then by the way, the period between hiyo June 25th na the time yenye hao jamaa wanaingia kwa serikali, by the way hakukuwa na maandamano hiyo time. So me, I always disagree with anyone who says that baba ndiye alisimamisha maandamano. Hakukuwa na maandamano hiyo time. Na in fact JV wenyewe just a minute because timelines are important. Unaona? Chaxy, timelines are important. By the time hawa jamaa wanaingia, I think waliingia July. Hakukuwa na maandamano ya kusimamishwa. Na jenzi wenyewe ndio walisimamisha maandamano yao. Unakumbuka wakisema mambo ya kwenda State House hatuendi. Na wako hapo hao ma-activists wenyewe, all those tweets are there.
Kuna wenye walijaribu kuenda State House.
Lakini sio baba alisema msiende. That one we have to be very clear. Number 2, baba's arguments ya kusema anataka ku support hii gava ilikuwa twofold. Issues mbili pekee, na yeye mwenyewe alikuwa anazi-explain vizuri sana. Alisema lazima to protect the democratic state. Ya kwamba huyu jamaa kama ni kumtoa, tumtoe kwa ballot. Unaona? Number 2 ni sustenance.
Is that the only option?
No, that's not the only option. Okay. This is his argument.
Got you.
This is why he said, let us prop up this guy until a point when we can remove him democratically. Kwa sababu Chaxy, ukweli ni kwamba nobody in Kenya can say with certainty anajua kitu ingefanyika kama William angetolewa pale na Gen Z. Do you know what would have happened? For sure, can you tell us what would have happened?
2 options. It's either the military takes over.
Yes.
And then if the military takes over is, we hope that whoever is in charge is good enough to have to officiate and hand over to a civilian government, or the military rules keeps ruling. So hizo ndio options mbili.
Sasa hizo options to a person who has ever lived in a democracy, they are unpalatable. Because immediately the military takes over, what happens? The constitutional order collapses.
Yes.
Hakuna koti, hakuna bunge. Vile hii katiba yetu inakuanga suspended immediately.
Nakatoa military state.
Military state. Unaona? So mtu mwenye anaamini kwa democracy, na ukumbuke hii generation ya kina baba waliishi kwa dictatorship. Wanajua how long it took. Wewe unasema ati walihope kama watu wa UG wali receive Museveni as a hero. Akikuja kutoa, I think ilikuwa Obote. Jamaa amekatalia hapo, sasa amefikisha anafanya his 7th term. So kama that is a risk you are willing to take, I can agree with you. But from the perspective ya Jacob alisema, huyu jamaa for the protection of the democratic state ya Kenya, wacha tungoje tumtoe during an election. Number 2, akasema we are preserving life. Kwa sababu watu wengi walikuwa wanadai sana, by the way, honestly speaking. Na ule jamaa hata saa zingine tulikuwa tunaenda maandamano na yeye, tunamwambia baba, sisi tunataka kwenda maandamano daily. Anakuuliza Edwin bana, you know, even you must allow us to rethink some of these strategies. Kwa sababu every day we go out, people are being killed. Every day you go out, how do we ensure that yes, we can still do what you want us to do in maandamano, but nobody dies? How can we do that? Unaona? So, Chaxy, those arguments, honestly speaking, to me, they made sense. And it was never about supporting William Ruto. It was never about that. Even by the time we are doing this MOU in March of 2025,
broad-based.
It was not that MOU is not what formed broad-based. These guys went in July of 2024 into government, July or August of 2024. This MOU with the 10-point agenda was done in March of 2025. I was there. I'm the one who wrote that thing, you know? And we made it very clear even on the front page, the first paragraphs, the text, we are not going into this as a coalition partner. We want to prop up this government because...
Is it public?
Yes. Ili expire hata bana unaishi nchi gani?
Sina juu expire March.
Yeah, ili expire because we had
March ama February.
March because they had only 1 year to be able to do some of those things and be able to put out a final report.
Were there consequences if the MOU was not honored?
Yeah, of course. The consequences were that we would walk out. We would go and do other things because once there's breach of an MOU, you are no longer bound by it. So unfortunately, the MOU is expiring in March of 2026 when Mzee is already dead and people have decided that we are going to continue. In fact, prior to the expiry nilikuwa nasema hakuna mtu ana uwezo ya kuextend hiyo MOU.
Do you have a report on...
There is no report.
Was anything done?
Nothing was done. And this, Chaxy, is the genesis of all my problems in ODM. This is the genesis of all my problems in ODM because I said that without implementation of that MOU, there is no reason why we are with these guys. And if you look at that MOU, zile vitu tulikuwa tumefront load ni zile values zetu. For instance, tulisema tunataka gava iwache kuabduct watu na kuua watu. Between the period tulisign hiyo MOU, March 2025, na by the time it expire, over 30 young people had been killed either by police or in custody. Over another 100 had been abducted and they are missing. Up to today, they are missing people, you know? So, mimi, ile siku yenye waliua Albert Ojwang, walimuendea Oma Beimazo wakamleta mpaka Nairobi wakamuua kwa sela, alafu wajaribu kutuambia ati alijinyonga.
Walisema ati alijigonga kwa ukuta.
So, Chaxy, at that point, mimi najiuliza, do these people have any intention of honoring anything in this MOU? Because stopping killings by police is one of the simplest things and it would have actually bought the government a lot of goodwill. On that day, nika declare hiyo MOU dead. Shida. Unajua nilikuwa naendanga show moja, mkutano ya Central Committee inaitwa. Kudiscuss Sifuna. How can Sifuna wanaenda kwa Marali wakisema the only person who can declare this MOU dead is Raila. Huyu Sifuna anajiona sijui nini. Nikaenda show ingine ya Yvonne. Nikaenda show ingine kwa Yvonne nikamwambia mimi as far as I'm concerned hakuna kitu watu wameimplement and they had never had an intention of implementing because from the beginning Ruto was going for the optics. Akuja asimame hapo KICC aseme tumekubaliana tutatembea pamoja. Wangapi wanasema tutembee pamoja without an intention of implementing anything in that MOU.
Didn't Baba know this as well? That Ruto had no intention of implementing?
In fact he knew. But that is the reason why people don't understand that Baba never intended to support Ruto in 2027. Alisema wacha tuwaekee hii mtego. Ndio maana hiyo MOU ni mimi niliandika bwana.
But the difference ni sisi we don't know that.
I have said these things. I know these things publicly. Unajua ubaya wenu mnataka tukuje hapa tuvae vinyasa ndio mjue vitu. Sasa wewe bana read a book. Pick up a newspaper Chaxy. Uwezi kuanga tu umekaa kwa podcast kila siku. Mlete hiyo gazeti. Mlete gazeti leo. Ala, soma gazeti wewe.
Unajua mimi nasema ni we don't publicly have anywhere where Baba says in 2027 we're not going to support Ruto. As far as we know, but
there is. I can play you the videos. Unaishi tu nchi yako.
Okay.
Unajua ukikataa kukuwa informed by Chaxy huwezi kutublame. Alafu tukiwaeducate
zinaweza kupita tu.
Moja haiwezi kukupita.
Vitu zinaweza kupita tu. Mimi nasema sasa
tukiwaeducate wanasema ati wewe tumekuchagua na unalia na sasa si tufanye. Nikitweet niseme hii MOU haijakuwa implemented wanasema sasa unatuambia ndio tufanye nini. It's also information.
No, it's good to have information. Umeniletea gazeti hiyo kweli.
Soma gazeti ya leo bwana, acha kutuliza maswali
wa gazeti.
Kana hayo. So
asante.
Sasa kuna mpaka video yenye Baba aliongea 21 days before his death.
Okay.
Kwa hoteli nyingine hapa Mombasa Road inaitwa Agile. Akasema navanga t-shirt imeandikwa hapa who has told you. Unafikiria hiyo kitu ilitoka wapi? Baba in his speech na mchezee hiyo video bana we. Leta hiyo video ya baba akisema hatuwezi unga mkono Ruto 2027. Alisema chama ya ODM iko na capacity ya kutoa mtu. Akauliza who has told you that ODM will not field a presidential candidate in 2027?
That video I remember.
So why are you saying he has never said it publicly? Why are you saying he has never said it publicly? Ile kitu hatutasameana.
Umenikumbusha tu sasa.
Hii sasa mmetoa wapi bana?
Si ni watu wako.
Ni watu wako.
Wakenya watakangi kuniona nikikunywa vitu, watasema mnataka kuniua. So anyway, these things are there.
That moment
these things are there publicly, and because of my insistence on that position of the party, first of all, that the MOU has not been implemented. It expired before they did, and they called themselves to KICC here. The president was there, and they attempted to extend the mandate of that committee of implementation of that MOU by 60 days. It was 60 days isha. Nobody talks about that MOU. Imewekwa kando hivi namna hii. Unaona? So when I stand up and declare the MOU dead, and I say the values of ODM are these ones, and they have been unable to implement any of those things, then my war begins in the party. They say, huyu msee lazima tumtoe. Unaona?
So hapo ndo
vita ilianza.
Is that on a personal capacity ama ODM?
ODM boss as SG.
The wrangles within.
Yeah. Okay. Now the wrangles within ODM and in my capacity as Secretary General, they say now my being SG is no longer tenable. Unaona? So wanaenda Mombasa, wanapass resolutions ya kusema nitolewe kama SG. Na wafuati katiba yao wenyewe. Unaona? So hiyo mgogoro iko pale kotini. But kitu yenye watu hawajui, nimesema yani mara mingi. Chaxy atatuambia hajawahi sikia nikisema.
Sasa jisikumbuki kitu moja imekuwa ni kila kitu.
Boss, gazeti tutakuletea kila kitu.
Niko nazo hapa
na video tutakuletea. Cheza hiyo kitu usiseme una remember.
Nitumie kwa simu. Kwa zinaweza cheza na simu.
So
evidence kwa karatasi.
No, kitu watu hawajui nimesema publicly ya kwamba si lazima kuwa Sifuna kwa SG wa chama. Lakini ikawa nataka kukutoa kwa chama, wafuate katiba yao wenyewe. Unaona? Because ODM nayo iko na talent. Siwezi simama niseme ati Sifuna pekee ndiye
anaweza kwa SG.
Kuna watu wengi sana, they are very good young people in the party, wanaweza fanya hiyo job. Na vile unajua Oburu alipewa hiyo title ya nini? Party leader. Maze on the yani ile time sisi tumeenda kuleta baba
ilikuwa roadside declaration. Yani
mimi niko kwa ndege nimeenda kuleta mzee kutoka India. It was one of the saddest moments bana. Tulilia kama watoto. Unajua tulikuwa tumekaa hapo na nani? Na Awele. Huyo alikuwa wakili wa baba. Kwanza nikaingia kwa hiyo ndege nikaona tu makunguru. Wale watu walikuwa
kina baba wote
throughout his life ati ndio wamekaa hapo mbele wanaenda kuchukua Jacom kutoka India. Yani nilikuwa nimejam. Nilikuwa na hasira nyingine hata sijui ilitoka wapi. So tulikuwa tumekaa hapo na Awele. Bana tulilia all the way to India. Tulifika huko tunakuta walikuwa wamemtoa Kerala place alidaia. So wamemleta mazee kwa airport. Ako hapo kwa airside. Walikuwa tu wanangojea hiyo ndege ya KQ ifike wamuingize. So alikuwa hii side ya airside. Kwa track kwa Canterbury hapo nyuma. Unatoka coffin ingine hapo ya mbao. Unajua hata India kupata coffin ni ngumu. Because wale wanafanyanga cremation. So ilikuwa yani the most undignified thing nimeshaiona, state yenye nimeshaiona Jacom ilikuwa hiyo. So hawa jamaa wanashangaa mmefika mnatakaje? Nikamwambia mtoe tu mweke hapa chini, we just say a prayer. Wakampeleka cargo, si tukaingia kwa ndege tukaturn around. So hiyo during that period ndio Oburu atianekwa party leader. Unaona?
So nani anamweka? So
si waliita mkutano ya Central Committee.
So the guys
in fact tukiwa State House tukiwa State House wakati hiyo announcement ilikuwa inafanywa, tulikuwa mimi I think Osotsi na governor Kisii Simba. Tukasema protocol ina require kwamba the officials of the party and the members of the party waambie officially party leader wao amekufa. The purpose ya hiyo mkutano ya asubuhi haikuwa ku replace baba.
Hey, checkmates, quick question. Why does sending money outside of Kenya feel like a group assignment and so expensive? I mean, you send the money, then there's wait 2 to 3 business days. There's delays, there's expensive fees, bro. At this point, it feels like your money is traveling more than you are. But listen, we have found a simple solution for you.
Introducing SendWave Wallet. Now with SendWave, you can hold, send, and receive money in USDC, digital dollars pegged to the US dollar. If you send $1 digital, the recipient receives $1 digital, which has the exact same value as the US dollar. And the best part is you can quickly send money to Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, Nigeria, and across 111 plus countries worldwide, fee-free.
Further, here's why you as a checkmate would love this even more. 1. You can fund your wallet directly through M-Pesa. 2. Securely save your money in digital dollars. 3. Send and receive money quickly from other countries. 4. Wallet-to-wallet transfers are completely fee-free. And lastly, when you need money, simply convert and withdraw into your local currency. For example, in Kenya, directly into your M-Pesa. So basically, freedom for your money.
So here's how it works. You download the SendWave wallet, you create your account, then fund your wallet with a minimum of $10. Then use our promo code MCP, and boom, you get a $3 bonus to withdraw.
And wait, it gets even better. SendWave has introduced Refer a Friend. You can now refer up to 5 friends using your own referral codes. And when they sign up using your own promo code and fund their wallet with a minimum of $10, you get $3, they get $3. Everybody's eating. Again, to qualify for the $3 promo, they must deposit a minimum of $10. Terms and conditions apply.
So checkmates, stop stressing your money with unnecessary border drama. Download SendWave wallet today and experience borderless money movement.
Send fast.
Send smart.
SendWave.
Ilikuwa watu wasikie kutoka leadership ya party yenyewe. Kwa sababu unajua Chaxy kwanza hiyo day mzee alisema amedai, tulikuwa tunaenda Kajiado. Nilikuwa nimevaa t-shirt yangu ya orange. Tulikuwa tunaenda Kajiado by elections campaigns. So, asubuhi tunatumia message mzee amedai, tukareroute, tukaenda kwa mom. Actually nikifika, the only person nilipata hapo ilikuwa Gladys. Kwa shafika. So tumekaa hapo. We sat in that home for a very long time. Watu wanakuja, president anakuja. So tunangoja Uburu alikuwa Kisumu. Alichelewa mbaya, alikuwa na fly KQ ikachelewa nini. So sisi tulikuwa tunafikiria at least announcement itamekiwa hapo na head of the family, the Jaramogi family mwenye ni Uburu. So immediately president
with the party members
with the party leadership and the family was there. Tukaambiwa president ndiye anamake hiyo announcement. So sisi wote tumekaa hapo hiyo time yote, tukaholiwa, tunaambiwa muende State House. Yani bro, hata hiyo the fact that Ruto ndiye alikuwa anatangaza hiyo kitu bana iliniuma. Just broke down.
Why was it done?
That's what I'm saying. You know, and
when it's death, you see, it should be the family.
Yes.
Not even the ODM without the family.
And that's the reason why we were waiting for Oburu. That's the reason why. But of course they said, he's a former prime minister, is now the state has taken over. Alafu sasa hata mkienda, yani hizi stories you guys daisha. Hiyo time tumeenda sasa Nyayo Stadium ati kufanya hiyo state funeral. Yani niliona ati mzee Saindi anapewa motorcade. Chaxy, I don't know how old you are in 2008-2013 when Baba was the prime minister.
Nilikuwa high school, so
sasa sisi tulikuwa pale. Kwanza walikuwa wametuibia uchaguzi yetu 2007. Tulikuwa tumefukuza Kibaki. Tulikuwa tumevotia Raila. Wakamnyang'anya hiyo victory. Akakuwa prime minister. Akikuwa prime minister walikuwa wanamwandamine every single day. Hata hiyo motorcade hakuanga nayo. So sisi tumekaa hapa Nyayo tunaona tisai juu jamaa amedai ndio wanampea motorcade. Tunamzungusha hivi study. Ati former prime minister. Vitu zenye walikuwa wanamnyima akiwa hai, wanampatia saa hiyo in death. So tulikuwa tu tumejama. Alafu kwa programu mzima wakatoa ODM. Nyayo yani hata kala zetu hakukuwa place yoyote. So ile hata feeling ya watu ODM saizi. ODM members themselves say and they tell you they never got a chance to mourn their party leader because once the state takes over ni hivyo. Unaona? Hata Bondo tukifika Bondo, watu wanasemanga mbona Sifuna alienda matanga ya Raila na t-shirt. Juu tulikuwa tumeambiwa tutaongea. Me, I was not supposed to speak in Bondo. Can you imagine? Na mimi ni SG wa ODM. Sasa walikuwa wameform hii committee ya Bario. Chair na rafiki yako Kindiki. Ati Kindiki ndiye amechea committee ya matanga ya Raila.
Who is making these decisions?
It's a state funeral. So the state takes over.
Alafu wana incorporate ati watu wa ODM moja. Of course hata mimi wako niweka kwa hiyo committee. Yani walikuwa wametu ostracize because they knew my position on this association with government. Sasa tumeenda Kisumu, nikikuwa kwa ndege. Kwanza usiku walikuwa wanatuma emissary, sitamtaja lakini anajijua, ni mtu mzuri, roho safi. Anasema Sifuna watu hii program imewashinda. Wanashindwa pale pa kukuweka, whether wakuweke ama hapana. Haya, nikamwambia hiyo ni shida yenu. I am not involved. If you want to completely leave us out of a program, it's okay. We will find a way to mourn our own boss. There's no problem. If it is a state function, it's a state function. We will respect the protocols. Haya, usiku wasema hao wamekubali kukuweka lakini wanataka kujua utasema nini. Nikamwambia sijui kama naweza swear kwa hii show yako.
Hapa fuck it.
Fuck off. Asubuhi niko kwa ndege, amekuja amekaa hapa kando yangu. Jambo Jet. Ananiambia, aliniona nikiingia, amekuja amekaa hapa, anasema Sifuna, we have really pleaded for your case, it will look very bad if...
Mbona unaogopa kusema jina yake?
Ni mtu mzuri. Naweza sema alikuwa Millie Odhiambo. Akakuja akaniambia SG hao watu wenyewe wamekubali kukuweka kwa program, but just be nice for the sake of the unity of the country nini. Nikamwambia Millie, there's only two things. Either you leave me out of a program or you let me mourn my boss the way that I know. If you are going to leave me out, I'll be fine. If you give me the mic, I will say what I want to say. Please don't tell me that I have to be nice. I've never been nice in my life. You know it.
Even when Baba was alive.
Yes, just I just speak my mind. So, you guys, niliamka hiyo siku nikijua hawa watu watakubali tuongee. Nikasema ni sawa. Mimi nikapiga tisho yangu nikaingia hapo nikakaa. Kidogo nasikia ati SG of the party akuja aongee. Kwanza nilijaribu kunegotiate na hawa jamaa wa military. Unajua kuna kitu tulikuwa tunafanyanga na mzee kama mtu strong wa chama amedai ama member wa chama amedai. Walikuwa wanatuallow tunaweka flag yetu ya ODM nusu kwa casket alafu flag ya the country hapo nini. Wakaniambia military haiwezi kubali hiyo story. Nikarudisha flag yangu kwa bag
ya ODM.
Ulikuwa umebeba yako pasa. Alafu wananiambia ati si tumemvalisha scarf ya ODM. Wacha tu. Ati yako na scarf.
I can only imagine it time yote bado una battle emotional.
Ni noma boss. Hizo vitu zilikuwa tu yani heartbreaking So nikaenda nikasema vile nilisema, nikaambia Jacob mimi sitavunja chama yako lakini wakiamua kunivuruga watanivuruga. And it actually happened. So what people don't know also when I say people I mean Chaxy.
Somangi gazeti.
Awachingi TV yako kwa podcast.
Naonanga tu podcast.
Siko kwa podcast. At least kwa podcast nakubali ukasi na si cancel interview.
Ni sawa. Sasa the first meeting yenye tunakuja kufanya sasa after tumebari mzee Central Committee. Tulikutana mimi na Oburu, watu wawili pale kwa ofisi ya Raila Chungwa House. Unajua Raila alikuwa na ofisi yake ya party leader hapo.
Iko lavi.
Sasa nikaambia Oburu, you know it's a very difficult time for the party, for everyone, and we are supposed to manage this transition somehow. And he had publicly expressed his opinions that I should not be SG anymore. There was a meeting in Kakamega where...
What were his reasons at that time?
No, there was a meeting in Kakamega where actually the local leadership there had planned that when I come, we were there in that meeting with Raila, that I should be heckled. So, when I went to that meeting, mi kwanza nilikuwa napigiwa simu usiku ati Sifuna usiende, wamekupangia nini. Nikasema Kakamega na...
Because in home.
Boss bana, aziniani Kakamega. Mama yangu atoka Kakamega. Mimi mwenyewe nilizaliwa Kakamega.
Uko ni nyumbani.
Hospitali ya St. Mary's. Nilienda Primo, Kakamega, Township Primary School. Nikaenda Musingu, wife yangu anatoka huko. Kakamega. Alafu unaniambia ati unaweza nipangia Kakamega. Ati watu wanipigie kelele.
Nani alikuwa anapanga?
So, wanajijua. So mimi nimefika, baba akaingia, mkutano ikaanza. Jamaa wa kwanza akapewa mic. Wewe Sifuna wewe ndio unakataa sijui mambo ya nini broad base. Yeye kwanza akapigiwa kelele. Wa pili kushika mic. Huyu Sifuna tuambie kama anataka kuwa nini SG ama akapigiwa kelele. Wa tatu vile aliongea ika backfire all of it. Unaona? Sasa Oburu akipiga hiyo story anasemanga ati mimi ndio nilipanga watu wakuje waonyeshe ati niko na support Kakamega mbele ya Raila. That's his version.
From where?
Sasa sasa unafaa umuite hapa podcast tumuulize. Kwa sababu sasa mimi
Oburu atalala.
So
conversation yao na watachukua 4 hours.
Yeye anasemanga ati mimi nilikuwa nimepanga hiyo kipindi yote. Alafu sasa leaders wenye waliongea subsequently, walikuwa wanaongea in support. Hata Atuoli kuna video hapo akisema hakuwa anajua ati wananchi ndio wananisukuma niseme vitu nasemanga. So feeling ya Oburu ni ati tuliembarrass Jacob. Unaona? So yeye akaongea the next day, alikuwa place haya. Akasema huyu kijana anajiona sasa amefika, yeye ni kama balloon. It's like a balloon, we can just prick him. Sasa fast forward, tumekutana sasa, yeye ni party leader. Tunaenda mkutano wetu ya kwanza ya Central Committee. Tukakaa hivi wanaume wawili, nikamwambia boss, umejipata kwa hii situation. Nimejipata kwa hii situation. None of us would have predicted the death of Raila. Now we have to work together. But because you have publicly expressed your feelings about me, and you think that maybe I should not be SG, if you still feel that way, nitakupatia barua ya resignation leo tukienda kwa mkutano ya Central Committee, so that you get an opportunity kukuwa na SG mwingine mwenye mnaweza vibe, si ndio? Akasema no, Sifuna, even me, I never intended to get myself in this position. We need each other. We need to steady the party, nini.
So we can get power.
Then we shook hands. Kama wanaume wawili. Akasema we will work together. How that changed and when it changed, it's a story that only he can tell. Unaona? Because I was willing at that particular point. Because you see, niliambia watu, kukuwa SG ya mtu kama Raila miaka 9 boss. Ni kama kutoa moto straight kwa transformer. Alafu sasa umejikuta umewekwa kwa power bank.
What does that
mean? Step down ni ngori.
Transformer to power.
Yo step back moto haikuji vizuri, unaona? So I was willing. Ngambia I was willing to leave it and go on.
So then what was so hard for ODM members mkae chini mresolve? Like
tumekaa Chaxy, mikutano
like
mingi.
The whole team.
Mikutano mingi. Hizi unajua kama sasa hiyo time tumeenda kwa mam. Anniversary Mama Aida. Hiyo birthday ya baba. Ilikuwa inakuanga February ama Jan.
Okay.
So mama akasema muache mvurugano na si kila kitu lazima muongee uko nje, kaeni chini muongee. So mikutano zimepangwa mob. Kuna watu wanajitanga ama tunawaitanga trustees wa chama. Watu wazito pale, kina Amos wako, kina Bosire, kina Kawino. So wao ndio walikuwa na convene hizo mikutano za amani. Ya kwanza waliweka ile Sunday before ile mkutano ulifanyika Kilifi.
Okay.
Wakasema Sunday saa 4 twende kwa nyumba ya Bosire.
Na mkaenda wote?
Mimi nilienda. Nikajikuta hapo peke yangu na Bosire. Bosire anapigia simu, hawakuja.
Okay.
Wakaenda straight Kilifi. Huko Kilifi usiku ikifika, hata mimi nilikuwa na tiketi yangu, nilikuwa na travel asubuhi. Usiku jamaa akanipigia simu tu, unajua Waluya ndio wanasimamanga kwa gate wengi. So jamaa akanitumia message akaniambia, mtoto wetu hao watu wamekuchorea, wamesema wamepeana instructions, kuna noa 3 zitakubaliwa ziingie, zimeleta vijana kutoka Nairobi, kazi yao ni kukuvuruga. Wewe security wako watafungiwa nje. Juu pia mimi nakuanga na noa zangu, si ati sina manoa.
So ni politician tu bado.
Ndio. Security, usalama lazima uweke. So usiku venye niliambiwa hivyo, mimi nika-cancel, nikatumana apologies. And true to word, Chaxy, sasa ile walikuwa wanasoma press statement, vijana walikuwa hapo wanatafuta Sifuna. Hata Mili amesema hii story, walipokosa Sifuna wakaanza kuvuruga Mili, kwa sababu wanasema Mili ni ati anasimama katikati. So mikutano tumefanya, kulikuwa na ingine hata tulifanya before hiyo next meeting ya Mombasa.
But has there been any yenye wote mmekuwa?
Yes. Tunakaa tuna agree. In fact, wacha nikwambie hii ya neck before tuli agree. In fact, sasa mkutano ukiisha, si ni party leader na summarize what we have agreed. Akasema I'll be consulting my SG more. We will be having a regular meeting. Sasa mimi hiyo time ilikuwa the day before huyo mheshimiwa mimi ajitangaze huko Mombasa.
Unajua kuongea.
Usise wewe ndio umesema.
Si video ziko online tu.
Hizo unaonanga na hizo zingine uone.
Usijali, nitasoma gazeti.
So kuna kwanga na meetings, kuna discussiwa. Mnafikiria ni cordial, kumbe jamaa wanachukua instructions from other quarters. So basically ODM saiko kwa mikono ya State House. Wao ndio wanasema venye watafanya, do inatolewa huko, wanafanya vitu zao. So si ati mikutano zijakuwa, but nimefika place yenye mtu anakuita mkutano, kumbe amekuchorea vijana wakuja hapo kukupiga. Na unajua vitu zimefanyika, mliona kitu kilifanyikia Osotsi. Hawa jamaa yani, kwa sababu tumewalemea kila kitu, tumewalemea arguments,
wanajua sisi kwanza.
Tumeiba DJ, tuliiba hiyo Linda yao, sasa hii Linda ni mjamo, mpaka tuliiba Linda Ogutu wako na sisi na atakataa. lakini anajua tunalinda ni moja. So wamesema the only thing wanaweza tumia sasa ni fujo. So ni kutupiga tu physically, you know, like what happened with those votes. It was quite unfortunate.
That was very unfortunate.
Yeah? Because unajua siasa afadhali mtu akuongoje kwa rally akupige ama kungoje kwa matanga akuvuruge. Lakini wewe imagine tumechill tu na mtoi wako kwa Sariti.
Ni almost home ground yake. Si mbali na kwake.
Wacha hata hiyo. The fact that politics inaweza spill into those private moments, tuseme umepeleka mtoi wako swimming mahali. Alafu mtoi wako anaona budake anakuwa attacked in such a situation. It is very bad. Unajua? If it is in a political context, see at violence ni kitu tuna advocate for, lakini it is not the same na mtu akupate Sariti unakunywa chai.
On a personal level.
It's a personal level, you know? So that is the problem we have. So tulifika place tukaona it is no longer safe for us to attend some of these meetings kwa sababu wanakupangia violence. Unaona?
Itabidi uchukue classes za karate.
Mimi fujo hapana. Watu siku hizi wapigani physical boss. Tunapigana hapa akili.
But sasa wao wanatumia fujo. Hiyo ndio.
Si ndio sasa tumesema as a young generation of leaders, tunataka kuacha hiyo kitu nyuma. Wewe leta idea zako, wewe ukuje na mimi nikuje na zangu tuone nini. Alafu baba alikuwa anatufunza politics ni persuasion. You need to persuade people, bro. Huwezi lazimisha mtu aone point yako. Lazima umuingize box na idea zako, points zako, views zako, naona. So tuliwa invite actually. Tulisema tunataka public debate kati ya watu wanajiita Linda Ground na watu wa Linda Mwananchi. Tuweke only one agenda on the table. Why do you support Ruto's re-election and why do I feel that he is wrong for the country? Walete their best debaters, situ na wetu. Wakitaka tulikuja hapa kwa podcast ama tuende kwea huko kwa auditorium ya Catholic University ama kwa Citizen, wherever it is, we are prepared. Because point by point, Chaxy, I can demonstrate to you why Ruto is bad for the country. And we started with that conversation here. Ya kwamba hawezi amka tu kila siku to conjure up evil against.
Na unakumbuka ilikuwa months into him being elected when we had that conversation. It was literally because alikuwa elected 22 August. Since we had a conversation in March. No, in February ama March.
So that is how we want to approach issues as a young generation of leaders. We don't have to fight physically over anything.
So then if we go by history, unaona what happened in 2007 when, my personal opinion, I think Kibaki used Kalonzo to split votes ODM. So when Kalonzo alienda ODM Kenya, then Raila Kabaki na ODM movement, the one that we have now, are we not witnessing the exact same playbook size? With Linda Mwananchi and Linda Ground?
Sasa sisi, what we are doing is actually, tumesema hatuta support William. Najua wao wanasema wata support William Ruto. For his re-election. Sisi, we have reasons why we think that he's bad for the country na anafaa kuleta mmoja na akanyage kubwa. Unaona? So one of the things we've been saying kama Linda Mwananchi ni kwamba si ati hatuwezi shinda uchaguzi tukiwa peke yetu. Me actually believe Linda Mwananchi ikitoa tu president na itoe deputy president credible, tunaweza shinda William, lakini tutamshinda saa 8. Huyo watu wa United Opposition pia wakienda peke yao wanaweza shinda bado, lakini watashinda saa 8. Lakini Wakenya wanatuambia wanataka kushinda saa 12 asubuhi. And that means that if you front a united team, it will be easier for us to be able to remove him. And the data is there. If you look at the recent polls, zinasema United Opposition plus sisi Linda Mwananchi, we have over 70% of the support of the public. So kurahisisha kazi, si kusema ati tuwezi shinda peke yetu, tunaweza shinda, lakini kurahisisha kazi and to avoid a situation kama hiyo umereference ya 2007, we need to present a united team. Wale watu wote wenye tunasema Ruto one term, to present candidate mmoja mwenye ako formidable, na pia si ati ni candidate tu. The conversation has to be about what sort of country do people want to see. Ni nini watu wanasema imefanya watu waseme Ruto one term. Ni nini amefanya na ni nini tofauti watu wanataka kuona. So lazima that conversation has to begin there. See, it's just about positions. It's about the sort of country that we want to see. And sisi tumeframe hiyo conversation kama Linda Mwananchi tunasema tunataka to return the country to the values za constitution. Zile tumeanza kuongea nazo hapa asubuhi. Rule of law, democracy, human rights. Hizo vitu ndio zenye watu wanataka to solve your software problem ya Kenya, and then the rest will follow.
Is that conversation already in motion?
Within Linda Mwananchi, I think that conversation is there. Within our movement, because our movement is big.
Mna front nani?
Sasa unajua hiyo ni movement itatangaza. Sio mimi Sifuna niseme. At the end of the day, we believe that within our ranks there are people who are actually good-natured people. Mtu unajua sasa tunataka tu mtu akona roho safi. Hatutaki mtu mkora, mjanja ama kona pesa. Tunataka tu mtu roho safi. Mwenye yani hata kama hata amka kujenga barabara kesho, lakini asiamke kutuua bana. Atuache tu tuishi maisha yetu. The bar has been set so low, Chaxy. We just want a good human being in State House.
Yeah. But then explain to me how a united opposition would work. And what I mean by that I see people with with different values. So if I went by what you said, for instance, ODM as a party has values, and you expect that people within ODM would follow those values. But clearly, tumeona, as much as the party can have values, it's just on paper. If the values are not within the people, then it's not going to work. Like what we're witnessing now. So how does Sifuna and Gachagua work together? How does Sifuna and Kalonzo work together? Because your values are completely different. So how does this work?
So this is what we have been saying. We are saying first you need to frame what country people want to live in. You know? That is where we begin. If we can agree that there are certain things that must stop, and there are certain things that must start happening, Chaxy, if we agree fundamentally there, then nothing is difficult. Because once you've prepared that frame, you then look each other in the eye and say, how do you fit in this frame? Yes, you can help us because you are a good ground mobilizer, but we can't put you on the head of a ticket. Because execution is where the problem is. So the person to execute must be the person at the top of a ticket. So we need to agree on those values, first of all, you know? And I have heard all these leaders in the opposition saying they are prepared to have that conversation. We all know our own weaknesses. Everybody knows their own weaknesses. People have, what are they called? Skeletons in the closet. Yes. That conversation will be a difficult one. We're not saying it's going to be easy, but we must be able to persuade each other that whatever skeleton some of these people have, Ruto is far worse. Ruto is far worse. And the process of having that conversation has to begin from where we have started, questions about our values. One of the things people did in 2022 that I feel should not be repeated is to ignore everyone's history. Because people don't change, you know? So let us front load the conversation on values, and then we say this is the blueprint and this is the team that can deliver it. I said that when you go and hunt for a dangerous animal, ukiwinda mnyama ambaye anaweza kukumaliza, every single person who can strike a blow on that animal is helpful. Akitupa mshale huku mwingine anatupia huku mwingine anatupia huku, because it's not going to be easy. You are going to be up against an incumbent who has a lot of money, who is a good politician by any measure himself, and he has a state on his side. You know? Yeah.
But then, okay, so again, if you go by history, right?
Yes.
Say 202. Rainbow Coalition.
Yes.
And then there was an MOU. I think part of that was a new constitution within 100 days. Raila gets a PM. Then Kibaki gets in office and completely doesn't honor that. Which speaks again to the issue of values.
Absolutely.
So then how do we make sure that we don't go back to that same position if we're already dealing with people whose values we know are not aligned?
So that is why I've said that the person at the top of that ticket must be somebody who carries those values. Believes in those values, and we'll be able to. That is the conversation. We need to be put in one. And you see, the good thing with the Kenyans is that you know all of us. You know all of us. So we must have difficult questions. And you had me speaking, for instance, in was it Moranga? No, we were in Kieni. We were in Kieni, and Rigiji was there. And all the times that I have met Rigiji, I've told him, by the way, I have issues with you on 1, 2, 3, and it's the reason why I voted to impeach you. It's difficult conversations, but they must be had. I spoke to Matiang'i and I told him, when I was doing the Bonchari by-election, ulinivuruga sana na polisi, nilikula tiaga sawa. But the journey that is ahead of us, we need to be able to present a formidable campaign against William Ruto. So we will sit down and ask each other these questions. None of those people is afraid to have these conversations. None of them is afraid. Ulinikosea, nikakukosea. But inchi inatuhitaji tutoe mtu kwa sababu he is an existential threat to the country. You know? Can we resolve some of his controversies and problems once he's out of office? So we are not saying that there will be no difficult conversations. There are. But they must be had. And all of us agree. And if you listen to all of them, including Sifuna, we are saying we will not be the ones kufungulia hiyo paka mwanya ya kuruka nje. We will not be the ones. Even we in Linda Mwananchi appreciate that we don't want to be seen as a project to split the vote. I have said it will be quite unfortunate to amke. Chaxy alafu usikie Ruto amepita na kura 300,000 kwa sababu Sifuna amepata 5,000,000 Kalonzo amepata milioni 5, yeye amepata 5.3. Tutakuwa tunafanya kazi gani? In fact, one of Raila's greatest regrets, and he used to say it to everyone, is that they in the opposition prolonged President Moi's reign from 1992. That thing we did in 2002 should have been done
even in 92.
In 92, because
way earlier.
if you look at Matiba and Kibaki, Moi won elections by 30% of the vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in 97 it happened the same thing.
Yeah. So he said, by the time we're coming to 2002, the national priority project was to kick Kanu out of power. There was no room for sentiment. If you say, oh, me I want, atapita katikati yenu.
So then the difficult position you guys find yourselves in, and we have, now let's have a very honest conversation and elimination. You've said we should not forget patterns especially behavior when people have already showed us behavior.
Yes.
So then how do you work with Matiang'i, who, when he was in power, disobeyed, is it 42 court orders? Who knows? Please Google.
I was there, boss. I was one of the lawyers for Oguna. Yes.
So then, if he has shown us that when he has power, it's like he's above the law.
Yes.
Then how do we ignore that just in the name of kicking out Ruto? Because is there a difference kicking out Ruto Saizi when you're going to have someone that behaves like Ruto?
That's what we are saying. That's why we are saying, Chaxy, those difficult conversations have to be had. Does Matiang'i have a role to play in kicking Ruto out? Let me ask you that question. He has a role to play. But the first thing, that's why we were saying, the first thing is not to ask who is going to be the president or the deputy. The first thing is we have agreed and the country is telling us that Ruto must go. Why are they saying that?
Yeah.
So we agree why they are saying that. The disobedience of court orders, collapse of rule of law, abductions and killings, and all sorts of evils that Kenyans are telling us they need to see stop. Once we have a charter, we have agreed. That frame here, like this, we ask each other, how do you fit in this frame, my brother? Yes, you can help us, but can we put you in charge of X and Y? We say no, because you have challenges with this and this and that. Can Sifuna do this and that? We say no, Sifuna, you can't do this and that because, yes, I have a role to play, but I cannot be Chief Justice, for instance, because I have X and Y as on my back, So that conversation is a conversation that has to be had. It will be difficult. We have to be honest with each other. But I personally feel that some of these issues will be addressed very. You have to be honest to each other and say this can be done, this cannot be done, because there's a yearning for a certain country. Yeah.
So how does this conversation happen? Who brings all these different people together to have this conversation?
First, the people are very powerful. The people are very powerful. Watu wakisha kuambia this direction hatuendi ni hivyo.
Okay.
And me, I have a feeling that it's the people who will decide the ticket in this country. Wananchi ndio wataambia viongozi.
So itakuwa like a nomination process?
No, it's not a nomination process. Because every single leader, everyone in the country has feedback from the grassroots,
Yeah.
The people are telling you what to do. I have stories from here to see where about members of parliament, MCAs who have been elected. They are being told if you don't come with Sifuna here, we will not listen to you. Wanaambiwa, there's places you go and they tell you, sisi tusipokuona na Kalonzo, hiyo ndio side tuko. Wengine wanaambiwa ukikuja hapa na Ruto unaanguka kura, So even in forming the team itself, I believe that Mwananchi have a very big say in terms of input on who they believe is the carrier of the sort of aspirations they have.
Yeah.
Do you personally have a preferred candidate?
What do you mean?
Like, if the United Front was
my preferred candidate is myself. How would you not prefer yourself? My preferred candidate is
myself. So will you front yourself?
But it has to be something that is done within a certain context.
But what people have told you, umesema ni watu ndo wana.
Yeah. We can hear.
I'm sure everywhere you go, people tell you.
Everything has been said, and we have heard you. One of the things we said is that we will not run away from the call of the nation. I mean, where do you want to, if the people believe that you have a contribution to make, you have no choice but to listen to the people, Chaxy. But you don't just wake up and say, oh, I'm running for president. There are certain things that have to be put in place. And, I tell people that Raila actually left a political blueprint that you don't need to reinvent anything. There are certain pillars that need to be in place for you to be able to be a viable candidate. And this is why we are saying the unity of the opposition is very important. We don't want that situation in 2007. How am I able to persuade the whole of the country to support a cause? How do you do it? Which is why Chaxy, you see us going to these spaces, to the people directly. We want to gauge what sort of support is there on the ground. Si kitu tu ati ya kuongea kwa social media ama kwa mitandao. No. Lazima uende kwa ground. We have been to many places, and we needed to begin with the ODM bases because we had a controversy in ODM to resolve as to where the spirit of Baba is and where the people themselves are. And I believe by and large, you can do your own assessment. But in my own assessment, that controversy has been settled. Yeah. The people know where, everybody now knows where the people are.
It's clear now.
It's clear now,
yes.
you know. Then secondly, you need support beyond the traditional basis, you know, which is why we went to Machakos the other day. Next weekend on the 24th, 14th. 14th, we're going to Thika, and then we do Meru 21st. We should be able to. You should be able to demonstrate.
Mbona mwendangi Kuria?
No, Kuria is in Migori. We will go. We will go. By the way, this is the point that I am making.
Mwenanda Migori. Kuria sasa. Okay, same.
I know. You have to go to Isebania. That's what you're saying. Uko ndani lazima uingie. And that is the whole point. It is difficult for you to gauge your viability as a presidential candidate when the people in Kuria have not even seen you. You see? So when people saying, oh, Sifuna, you must declare, I've not even been to Turkana. And the constitution says you must get 25% in 24 counties. See tu watu hapa vibes and inshallah hapa West ati ni stronghold.
Vibes and inshallah hapa West.
Ati West ati umetoka nini Quiver umeingia Quiver ya Islands umeingia ya West. Kuna Quiver Westlands. Hakuna.
Hapana.
Mnahitaji CL.
Wewe jua inajengwa tu.
CL.
Tulikuwa CL jana huko kura zako ni mingi. Boss.
Ground ni different.
Lazima bro utembe all of these places. Yeah. So by the time you're making a declaration that you think you are a viable candidate, you must have been to all these places. And you must be able to harness the spirit of the people, what they think you should do. People should be able to demonstrate that, yes, they agree with your vision for the country. And that is a long, long process. Mzee Baba never used to make any decision without having gone round the country. Yeah? So the blueprint is there. How many rallies have we done? 7.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have not covered even half of the 24 that we need, you know? So if God willing, we are able to do a good number of counties. But within the Linda Mwananchi team, they are agreed that we have good quality people there who can actually run this country. And it doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be Sifuna. Tumewambia tunatafuta tu mtu roho safi. Na tumejaa nao huko sana.
That is where the bar is at, yani.
Mtu roho safi. Hata kama hujui kufanya kazi bora kuna roho safi.
Uko tu na roho safi hautaamka tu kusema leo.
Hata basi wasichana pia ungekuwa natukubali on the basis ya roho safi.
Roho safi inasaidia, si wako hapa waulize.
So siku wanakuambia roho safi hailipi rent.
Lakini sasa unajua hata kama analipa rent kila siku anaamka anakuwekea sumu kwa chakula. Every time anajaribu kukuua tu. Ukiruka hiyo mtego ya panya, kesho anajaribu kukunyonga kwa kitanda. Ukihepa hiyo, kesho yake abetoa panga. Boss, anakuletea Ebola mpaka kwa nyumba.
So is it true Uhuru is financing Linda Mwananchi?
No, it's not true. You see, one of the things that I explain to young people is that the political class inajaribu kutisha watu wasiparticipate kwa siasa by making it look like you need billions of shillings to participate.
Yes.
So they think that holding a rally, Sifuna cannot hold a rally because I need a billionaire or a millionaire to sponsor me. It's all propaganda meant to ensure that watu wanaogopa kuparticipate in politics. Unakaa unasikia mtu anakuambia ati you need wanasemanga how many billions to run for president?
13 billion ama ni 6 billion something.
Hiyo yote ni uongo. For as long as Chaxy you can cover your logistics. Utoke tu hapa. Tulikuwa Machakos last week Sunday. Nichukua gari yangu, niweke fuel ya kufika Machakos. Although si ati ni pesa mingi lakini unajua mafuta imepanda sana. Siku hizi ni expensive bro. So tunasimama juu ya roof ya gari. Gari already niko naye. Nimesimama juu ya roof ya gari
PA system
na PA system niko naye. What else do you need? What makes politics expensive ni hawa watu kumobilize. Tokenization. Ukikompea hizo rally za Linda Mwananchi na Linda Ground, kama hii juzi wamefanya Kisumu. Angalia the number of buses zenye wamekomboa kwa shule kubeba watu kutoka Isebani ati wanaenda mkutano Kisumu, and yet Kisumu kuna watu. Kwani watu wako Kisumu ni watu wa ODM? Aya, kila mtu atenapewa kofia. Do you know how expensive kama kofia moja ni $200 bro? Hiyo rally yangu ya Kitengela ndio nipatie kila mtu mwenye alikuwa hapo, ninahitaji pesa ngapi? It's a lot of money. Ati kuprint t-shirt. Sisi hatu printingi t-shirt. Hata t-shirt yenye navaanga imeandikwa who has told you, nilipewa na kina Abi. Si kuprint mimi mwenyewe. Sijui hata hiyo t-shirt ni pesa ngapi. So what makes politics expensive ni these people who need to pay people to attend their rallies. Na mliona mpaka kuna videos MP anagawa kila mtu kwa basi 5,000.
Yeah.
Boss, where do you get that sort of money? Sisi tukienda Kisumu, tuliamka tu na tukatangaza tunasema tunakuja Kisumu, church ni pale, tukitoka church tunaenda kiwanja ni ile. That's all it took. You know? And for as long as you're speaking the language of Mwananchi, watakuja tu. In fact, Kisumu was our most expensive rally. Na ili to cost 5 mic. Kwa sababu ya security. Walikuwa wametutisha sana, wametuwekea vijana nini. We had to deal with those issues. But kama maja, I think ilikuwa mita 2. Kulipa wale watu wanatufanyia security. Kulikuwa na sound zenye tumeweka kwa ground. Haikukuwa nini peke yake, track peke yake.
Kwa watu ni wengi.
Sasa ni watu ni wengi. So kama hiyo meeting tulifanyia pale Machakos Town, unakumbuka tukisema watu wa Naivas walituambia tutoe speakers zetu tukaweka pale side ya taxi na boda. Wakatuwekea hapo. Pale kuna ka center tulifanya pia kabla tukitoka church, sijui nisikumbuki jina yake. Mutituni pia tulikuwa tumeweka sound tower moja hapo. So you find that mna spend kwa mafuta, mna spend, alafu watu uchanga. Osotsi ndio treasurer wetu. Anafaa aonyeshe M-Pesa statement yake. Mtaona hawa bunge wetu wenye tuko nao kwa linda Mwananchi, kila mtu anatoanga parali 100,000. Anatumia Osotsi. Unaona? So after Osotsi ameweka kila kitu pamoja, anapatia huyo jamaa wa sound. Anamlipa yake, anapatia the local contact person wa kufanya security na vitu vingine. So wao wakiona hizo meetings zetu wanafikiria ati you need a lot of money to do these meetings. You don't. And I am very happy because we have created a platform yenye all these young people, all these aspirants wanakuja wanapata thousands of people hapo. Wewe ongea nao, ujiombe kura. Ask those aspirants how much money they have ever spent in the places we've gone. And we always give them a platform because this movement is not just about the leaders. Yeah, sisi at least we are in office where we can be able to marshal some resources. Wao hawana kitu. But niambie, wewe ni aspirant Nakuru. Linda Mwananchi imeweka kiwanja hapo, watu wamejaa. Si utakuja uongee uombe kura. Yeah, and ask them if we have ever even asked them for money. Hakuna. Wanakuja kwa sababu ni platform yenye sisi wote tumejicreatea. Watu wanajitolea bana. Kama sasa mimi niko na gari moja ya sound, Babu wako na ingine, Patrick Makao wako na ingine. Zikikuja unakuta mko na sound 5. Piga show mzuri pale Mlolongo, mnaenda home. Yeah. Hakuna mtu hapo Mlolongo alilipwa pesa. Unaweza wauliza. Yeah. So ni wivu tu watu wako naye. Na pia hao wamezoea kulipa watu ku attend rallies. They don't understand ya kwamba you can just do an organic meeting.
Yeah. So niko na 2 questions from 2 different people.
Yes.
One was where is it? My Uber driver mwenye amenileta studio leo. Okay. Anyway, so basically alikuwa anasema I'll get it. Alikuwa anasema ambia Sifuna asimame for 2027 because uko na goodwill ya watu, so that in case even if it doesn't work out, it still positions you for 2032. Hiyo ni rational thinking yake.
Yeah, I appreciate maoni yao na nimesikia hiyo kitu mpaka siku hizi nimechoka.
Anguka kwanza ndio.
Watu waanze kuniambia story nyingine.
Wanakuambia anguka kwanza ndio.
Hiyo kitu nimesikia. But what people need to appreciate is that we're not just running at it so that we position ourselves to 2032. There's a greater conversation and I'm hoping that from what we have spoken about today, people need to understand ya kwamba it is not about making Sifuna president. We have the opportunity of our lifetime to be able to change this country. Hatuwezi endelea kuishi hivi basically. That's what I'm saying. Unaona? So even if I can be able to influence you, Chaxy, ukubali kwamba tunahitaji mtu wa roho safi na tukae hapa studio tuseme ule mtu akona roho safi ni Mwass, tumpatie hiyo ticket. Yani tukikubaliana
lakini niko na roho safi.
Mwingine si Mwass.
Tukikubaliana hivyo, huyo mtu anashinda kura asubuhi and we change the country. Unaona? So the point is, it's not about who becomes president. We want a good-natured person mwenye atakuja make some basic changes to how the government is run, so that we are able to live in a country that everybody feels they belong. So me, I hear you. I have heard people, yani nimewasikia, mi si ati sisikii, I have heard. But I've told you there are certain things that you need to put in place to be able to be a viable candidate. You need a platform, you need a manifesto that you can sell to the people. Like right now, we have been saying all these things. We need to reduce it to a written agreement with the people of Kenya that this is what we are going to do. Having in mind all those experiences of MOUs that were disregarded and so on and so forth. And I believe firmly, Chaxy, whoever comes in 2027 will not be given time. Bro, within 3 months, people will want to see certain changes. Within 6 months, kama mujafanya, maandamano kwa barabara, wataanza kusema one term pia. Unaona? But that precedent ya kutoa mtu mwenye amekataa kusikiza wananchi is important for the democracy of this country. So that all future presidents wakaange tu wakijua.
And also to break ile cycle, people become presidents expecting 2 terms.
Yes.
Like who guaranteed 10 years.
Inatakana your record during the first 5 years are the ones that guarantee you a second term, or kama muja perform muende nyumbani. So there will be a lot of pressure. I don't think Wakenya watakubali ujinga ati mumekubaliana nao within 100 days kitu fulani itafanyika alafu ati mkatae kufanya. Unaona? So we feel that pressure, and that is why we are saying we need concrete and solid agreements. And we need a good parliament. We need good members of the National Assembly who can even tell the president no. You know, even this tool called impeachment, we need to give parliament back that power to be able to impeach a president.
And to do it properly.
Do it properly. So that if for instance, there are 1,001 grave errors that constitute impeachable offenses that Ruto has actually done. But because we have neutered parliament, we just have to sit there and say, oh, wacha tumungoje kwa debe. So even those people in the National Assembly, in the Senate, who have voted against the people's wishes, inatakana sasa tutafute members of the National Assembly wenye wanaweza kusikiza wananchi kwanza. Unaona? So that even us, if we find ourselves in the executive, there are checks and balances. We have to restore that checks and balances system. Yeah.
I think I'll just add to what how you answered hii swali ya mbona Sifuna sisimame. I agree, it doesn't have to be Sifuna specifically.
Yes.
And for us to actually change things, we need to move away from politics here, people to policies and values.
Correct.
Can we vote based on what the person is actually going to do, not because Sifuna is a name? Because then we'll go back to the same cycle. We are voting for people instead of policies.
Alafu, one of the things we want to do as Linda Mwananchi, we need to grow critical mass in leadership so that there are 10 good people. The curse of democracy is that you have only a limited amount of time in office, even if you are that good person. And the cycle is that sometimes you have a good president for 10 years, then another clown comes on a popular wave and actually undoes everything that you have done. So one of the things we've been saying is, how do you grow enough leaders to be able to sustain that goodness? For a country to change, you need maybe a stretch of 50 years. But we don't want to say that one person is elected and be there for 50 years. No. You have a good political party or a political movement that gets itself in power and grows people, grows leaders. I remember giving the example of these Democrats when it was clear in the last election that in 2024, that Biden could not continue on the ticket. You saw how they started running up and down the country. Let's try the governor of California. They literally had no options. Yes, they didn't have options. Yes. They ran around and then they decided on Kamala. But at that particular point in time, it was too late. So one of the things that we have learned as leaders of political parties is first you need to establish and institutionalize political parties, because there are a forum in which you are able to meet and mentor each other and see if you are the right material for the values that we've been preaching.
And it's a clear means to power.
Yes, like it's a clear means to power. Yeah. But this is what I'm saying. You need that system to grow good people whereby even if you do 10 years and leave as president, there are other 10 people
who are capable
of continuing in that vision.
Okay.
And you saw how we have stagnated. We have 10 years of Kibaki and the coalition government. They have written a document they call Vision 2030. And that is how countries grow. You have to have long-term visions and plans. And everybody plugs in. Then we elect another group and they decide that that Vision 2030, they will have their own vision.
They have their own agenda now.
And by the way, by that time, these things have already been put in place. I mean, we have spent resources in Konza, for instance. We have done feasibility studies for an SGR all the way to Malaba. We had drawn it to be an electrified line with modern locomotives and so on and so forth. Then jamaa wanakuja wanabadilisha tenda, wanapea watu wengine instead of an electrified line tunaletewa diesel locomotives, unashindwa ala.
Even affordable housing in Vision 2030 but that's imefanywa in a completely different way.
So that is what I want to encourage Kenyans. So as Linda Mwananchi, we will be very deliberate. We will go into these spaces, allow young people to have these conversations. That's how you identify talent, you know. You have these meetings in these areas, give them the mic bana, wacha watu waongee. We were discovered as talents by being given opportunity to speak, and to speak not just in front of your own friends, but in front of consequential people who can sit in a room in Nairobi and say, who was that young man who spoke so well in Kwale? And we need to run him as our candidate
in
for
that
senator.
area. So then the second message was from a friend of mine called Abok. And when she was in a country, she actually came for the Kisumu rally.
Yes.
But I think alikuja the church, then rally kamshinda.
Yes.
So she sent me a selfie of you and her because you're on the same plane, incidentally coming back to Nairobi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she sent me, I'll read it because she typed it out. I have a small request if you ever get Sifuna in that chair. Senator Sifuna has stated that his target for 2027 is the 8 million Kenyans who disengaged from the 2022 election.
Yes.
It's a compelling ambition, but there's a question nobody seems to be pressing him on publicly.
Yes.
Gen Z is now Kenya's single largest voter bloc in 2027.
Yeah.
They proved in 2024 that they're politically awake and can organize when they brought down a whole finance bill from their phones. So the question I think may be worth asking is, you've said the 8 million non-voters are your target for 2027. Jay-Z is the biggest voter bloc and they've shown they're mobilized digitally, not through traditional rallies.
Yeah.
So what is your actual plan to reach them? Because right now your primary tool is the political rally, which is a format that disengaged young voters fundamentally don't respond to. So how does a rally convert a 22-year-old who gave up on the system? So basically, what kind of demographic do you see in the rallies? I'm sure it's not very primarily young people.
It's actually primarily young people. And if you go to the videos in Kisumu, for instance, one of the most, if you want to see that a movement has actually grown, is to see not just young people, but young women in those rallies. Because traditionally...
And those that are specifically have not been paid to come. So they willingly come.
I told my team to buy me a body cam because you guys need to
That's
see.
Fire.
You need to see.
POV.
Yes, my POV. You need to see the amazing things we see when we are on those rooftops. Boss, we went to the church in Nyalenda, and these young women walked from Nyalenda with us, with that convoy, singing and dancing all the way to the venue of the rally. It's amazing to see. You guys need to see those POVs. Realize kwamba this thing actually is a movement largely by young people. There is context to that comment of the 8 million people. We were discussing voter registration drives, you know? And I said that a voter who needs to be mobilized to register is a difficult and problematic voter because on the day of the election, they need to be mobilized to do what? To go and vote. And it is difficult. That is why you have 8 million people on the register. They have registered, but they just don't show up. Why is that? So the question I was answering that time was, whom do you focus on? Whom do you focus on in terms of, is the effort to get people on the register or is the effort to get people out to vote? Once these people, whether they're young or old, end up on the register, what compelling message do you give them for someone to say, "Aki ya Mungu silali mpaka niamke niende kuvote"? What is that? So that is the challenge we have on the leadership. And this is why we are saying we have to have a platform. The country is saying we want change. What does that change look like? What guarantees are there that when we get into office, we will actually do those things? You have to be able to move people. psychologically and emotionally to be able to come out and vote.
Yeah.
You know? So sio kusema ati hatutaki kura ya mtu yote. No. We are saying we need to know. And I was very happy because these young people have demonstrated that left on their own, they know what to do.
Yeah, they can
actually know what to do. So you saw that the IBC was struggling with this registration of voters. Then Kina Alan Zademba started the Tukokadi movement, and suddenly young people are showing up to register. Yeah, this is not a generation that needs to be told what to do. What you need is show them what country we can actually live in and the sort of leadership that we can put in place, and they will do it themselves. You know. So we appreciate the support. Actually, the young people on social media have been amazing. Everywhere we have gone, by the way, in the rallies, in the meetings that we've done, there are thousands and thousands of young people who show up there. They're not old people who come to those rallies. And even the older generation has to be convinced. You have to persuade my mother and that group of us, the Catholic Women's Association, who go to church every Sunday with the kitamba. You have to persuade them that you know what you're doing, that the direction you're giving the country is the best for everyone, not just Gen Zs or older generations. Yeah. So for her, I tell her that for me, the perspective is it is incumbent upon us to demonstrate that we have ability to do things differently from what they are being done. And if you have a compelling argument and message, and you demonstrate that you can actually do these things, the people will follow you. Yeah, I don't see any other formula, because one of the things I've noticed is that, especially these young people, if you throw yourself at them, they just throw you back. It's true. Every single person who has attempted to claim that they are the leaders of Gen Z have been rejected.
Yeah,
because they themselves will tell us who their leaders are, if indeed they want leaders. You know. So you can't force yourself upon them. I remember when Kina Ademba started this thing called Tukokadi. Then the president also tweeted and said Tukokadi. Hey, boss, mind tafadhali, songa kidogo. So atuko kimoja. Atuko kimoja. Actually, walimwambia Tukokadi tutoe. Yeah, so it was quite funny. Yeah, it was quite funny. Those young people they just need to be given space and opportunity. They will actually, I've said that they are the ones who will rescue this country.
Yeah. So I think it's a loaded question, because I think in one bit she speaks about voter apathy, which we saw in the last election. But I think also the second bit, I think what she wants to hear is, are you guys going to be able to mobilize outside the political rally? Yeah. Just especially for that young audience that is not going to come outside of the
Absolutely.
rally.
And there are many, there are thousands of ways to reach people. I told you when we began this conversation is that there were certain controversies we needed to settle. The controversy in ODM on where the people of ODM are, the vast supporters of ODM are, we needed to settle that controversy. And how do you do it? You go into those spaces and demonstrate that the people are with you.
Yes.
So this one is now another challenge. We want the young people to tell us in what spaces they want us to reach them. We have proposed, for instance, after we do there are not going to be more than, at this particular point in time, because, we are not actually in the campaign period.
Yes.
Part of the conversation within Linda is that maybe after we do Mount Kenya, we do what they are calling a homecoming.
Homecoming?
A homecoming in the sense that we go to Trans Nzoia, Bungoma, then we come to Nairobi. Because I'm a senator of Nairobi, I come from Bungoma. So once we do that, then we get into the organizational phase. Starting August 1st, we cannot be running around just doing rallies. We need to get into those spaces. How can we reach these young people? The question of getting organized and structured. The question of having a blueprint that we can go to the people with and tell them, this is what we want to do for the country, or we want to do differently. So there's proposals of doing campus tours. I saw.
We guys are doing campus tours for our live shows this year.
Yes, maybe we can come with you because you guys have been in those spaces. We have even had policy discussions such as these ones in a bar. These things never used to be done.
Yeah.
Nilikuwa naulizwa maswali na walevi pale.
Unakumbuka walevi wana mic?
Mudo anakurushia swali lakini because very good questions. So who says that it has to be rallies? It is you are only limited by your creativity and imagination. Anywhere. Anywhere. Tunaweza chapa tour ya campuses, tuchape tour ya Quiver. Tupige
Quiver ndio nambamba sana.
Unajua juzi kwa mob kushinda mahosi za Nairobi.
Kweli.
Kwa mingi sana. So quiver inawaka. So in any space you get, my live, my TikTok live, my IG, FB, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Tunaonaga ukichapa live unakuta audience ingine wazimu.
Yeah.
Hata hizi ma podcast zinafikia watu. Unaona? So there are 1001. Niliona KU wako na nini?
Radio.
Hapana, si radio. Wako na hall ingine hapo inakaa fiti sana ile. Hiyo amphitheater iko juu sana. Wanavaa wachukue kiti moja kama hiyo weke Sifuna hapo. Wapatie hao vijana mic.
Na bado kuna square inaitwa Bishop Square because I was in KU that is even bigger than the amphitheater. That can accommodate more because it's
so tuchape campus tour. There are all sorts of proposals to get to the young people. When we were with Mzee, Kitambo, we had an idea where we used to have Raila sit there, and then you have all these young people they are the ones to have a conversation with Baba. It was called Kikao. It was very powerful. Because
Kikao.
Yes,
as ODM, Kikao.
Was it public? It was as
ODM.
Okay.
It was as ODM. Okay. It's called Kikao. So what we did, the first one I think we did is Wild Waters in Mombasa. Because we realized that whenever Raila went, we tended to, as the leadership, monopolize the mic. Yeah? So you would have 10 governors, 15 members of parliament, and all these young people are seated there just looking at you like, ai, ni watu ni aina gani?
Now ndo kuna
so
maswali.
Yes, now ndo kuna nini, hata kuwa na swali. Even just being given the mic to speak in front of Raila is something everybody used to crave, including myself. When I was starting, I'll look for the first time I ever spoke in front of Raila at a meeting. It was tough because you're a nobody. By the time they have gone through the list of governors, members of parliament, wanakwambia time imeisha, vijana wave. Vijana wave. Kuna incident moja by the way ilinifunguanga macho sana. Tulienda mkutano mwingine maanzoni ya chama. So, Women League wako hapo, Youth League, representatives were the mainstream party. You see me, I was young then, but I never joined the Youth League because I refused to be put in a kasilo where you are not part of the mainstream.
You are the future.
You are the future.
Wait for your time.
So, saa ile mkutano imeisha, nasikia mtu wakasema mtu asimame aombe chakula. Alafu huko nyuma unasikia mtu anashout, "Youth hawajaongea." And it was such a poignant moment for me. I was like, this is wrong on so many levels. Tunafaa tuwe tunaanza mkutano na hawa watu. Hao vijana watuambie vile wanataka tufanye. So, we have to do things differently.
Yeah.
So, Kikao, we did Mombasa, it was very successful. The second one was at Masinde Muliro University. It went very well. The third one was in October of 2016. And I remember it because that is the month that my daughter was born. Was in Kisii.
His firstborn daughter, October 15th.
Yes. Mine is
2016.
Mine is 14th, right?
Yes. Shit.
Hey.
So my daughter
sponsor bouncing castle next. Bottom combine birthdays.
My daughter was born in October. The night she was born, actually, we were doing. The next day was Kikao in Kisii. And I remember leaving the hospital at around 1 a.m. I was driving myself. Those days I didn't have drivers or security and things. But there was also no danger to me because I was a nobody. I was a nobody. I drove myself all the way to Kisii. And in the morning, this Kikao, after the governors and the MPs had seen how powerful it is, because you have thousands of these young people just coming to see Baba and talk to him, they hijacked it. Because they are the ones who are saying, they are sponsoring me, nimepeana pesa ya hema nini, they took over the mic. And I remember we used to run around with the vijanas in the party that time. Myself, Moha, the MP for Nyali, the MP for Kitutu Chache South now is called Kibagendi. Kisii town is his constituency, and Silvana Sosoro, he was still a good man. Alikuwa hajapata kiburi. Sasa hii ni Kisii, imagine bana. And Kiba and Osoro are young people, they are running in Kisii. They were locked out of the program. And that is how Kikao died. Kikao died because the powerful politicians, the governors and the elected leaders, they took over. And the young people were just like, we are no longer. And I remember my friend Onsarigo was one of the organizers, Dennis Onsarigo. He remembers how Kikao was fantastic. So even for us, we want these young people to also lead. We also want them to lead us. This election does not make you a genius on anything. And if you give them a mic, you will be amazed at the sort of ideas that they can give you.
Yeah.
Which is why, by the way, I run into problems with Kenyan media. These days, I tell them, you can't have Sifuna on your show every day. Allow other people to also speak. You can't monopolize everything, which is why I'm doing this show only 2 years after the first one. Because this space also needs to be occupied by other people.
Yeah,
other people also have views.
Wagava wameogopa.
Wanaogopa kwa sababu
only actually almost everyone we've had ni wase wenye wako opposition. Everyone in government wanaogopa.
Yeah, because
kuna mwenye alituambia we send questions in advance tukamwambia wache kae.
Sasa
kwa sababu sasa hiyo ni
nini?
Yeah.
Just come and have a conversation and you can always explain yourself even if they are difficult questions. Unajieleza tu. But the point is allow multiple voices. Multiple voices, because how many people are Sifuna now? There's millions of people calling themselves Sifuna. Let them sit here and talk. It just doesn't have to be this Sifuna. Yeah.
Then there's the conversation that I also support. Maybe you've seen it online, where a section of us are saying we need to get rid of all KANU politicians.
Yes.
Because it's the same people, they've been in power for so long, they morph into different things, but their ideals in zile za KANU. And it's evident in how Ruto is running government now.
Yes.
Where do you stand there? Because Kalonzo is from that playbook.
Yes.
Gachagua is from there as well. Yeah. They're all just KANU politicians.
Yeah, but things have changed fundamentally. I think the Gen Z have managed to reset this country with what happened in 2024. They are demonstrating to everyone that there is a certain value that we want to live by. And if you don't do it, that's your problem. Bad people are not just from KANU. I have a name from Ford, Kenya, who's a terrible character.
Tunamjua.
Who is a terrible character who never supports the growth of young people, who is just niromba tu.
Magunzu huko amesumbua.
Anasumbua kukazi ni kupiga watu mipini tu.
Exactly.
So it really, of course, the history and background of these people matter. But Gen Z have fundamentally changed the way even these politicians think. You need to know that if you don't listen to us or you bring those KANU hawkish behavior, we will get rid of you. So yes, there are difficult conversations, and not everybody from KANU is a bad person, by the way. Not everybody. And not everyone, even from opposition, is a good person. We have seen, I'm telling you, Chaxy, I look at the people I used to sit in the room with in ODM and talk about these values that we are talking about.
Look at them
people who used to stand on the podiums and swear that Ruto is a devil, you will never see me with him. These days, they are the ones...
They work in government.
They're in government, not just in government, but they're the ones who are selling us this narrative that is the best thing that ever happened to this country. Can you imagine? And you just look at this person and you wonder, is this the same person?
Tumewaona akina Joho akina Badi.
Is this the same person?
Tumewaona and they've been there publicly saying things.
Absolutely. And that is what, by the way, gives birth to the skepticism of people, of Kenyans. That even this Sifuna, sometimes he just talks like this, but maybe he will also be co-opted, And when you go across the country, the fear is that actually people want to support you, but they are wondering what happens to you wakifika bei yako. That is the biggest fear.
Everyone has a price.
Yeah, because they have seen that, they have seen these politicians. Those people were never in KANU. They were just ODM people. In fact, they call themselves founders of ODM. And then they are now the ones singing here Ruto's praises. So I appreciate the skepticism. But you see, before, I think it's Mandela who said it usually appears like it cannot be done until it is done. There are good people there. There are people who actually cannot be bought. There are people who can stick to their values. And you can look at our histories and see whether there are any contradictions from the things that we've been saying. All this time, we've been elected. I have been told that I am the poorest senator from Nairobi. Because my predecessors, ile do wako naye. So kuna watu wanasemaga wewe unalalia masikio. So zingine unasikia watu wanapiga mradi hapa wanataka kula shamba ya public.
Tumeziona mara moja.
So wanakaa wanasema huyu Sifuna tumuingize ama ataanza kupiga kelele. Tombo ya social likikuliwa viongozi walikula. Viongozi walikula. It took me to take that matter to the Senate. Na hiyo title ikakuwa cancelled kwa sababu wengine wetu tunashangaa, boss, by the time uko na nyumba 10 Nairobi, unafanyia nini hizo nyumba? What are you using those houses for? Hata kama ni rent bana boss. Lakini unakuta watu wako tu kwa hizo acquisition spree, pesa ndio wameweka mbele. Wakiambiwa leo auze Uhuru Park wanauza. Unashindwa shida ni nini boss? Wewe mtu kama mimi nilikuja Nairobi bila kitu. Bila kitu. And I think in my family, at least my what is it called? My side of my grandmother's side, watoto wake, my fathers and all his brothers. I think I am the first person to actually own a house in Nairobi. And that is courtesy of the people of Nairobi. Once they elect you, unapatiwa mortgage hapo 30 million. Ningetoa wapi boss? Saizi I have a roof over my head. My uncle Lawrence, because he was educating an entire community.
The MP?
When he was MP, and they used to earn a fraction of what we are earning. They didn't have even these benefits. That guy, he didn't have a house in Nairobi. He was not able to own because alikuwa anatupeleka shule. Mshahara yake yote ilikuwa kutupeleka shule. Sisi wote. Hakuna mtu kwa community yetu hapo Bungoma hakupelekwa shule na Lawrence. Alianza na mandugu zake, akawasomesha, akakuja mpaka anasomesha sisi sasa. So you sit and you ask yourself bana, yani hii greed, kuna greed ingine yenye ni kama ugonjwa.
The greed they talk about in the Bible.
Hiyo ni ile of biblical proportions. Ndio hiyo. Wasi tu boss. Yani kila deal lazima umange. Safaricom percent yako iko hapo ndani. Kenya Pipeline percent yako iko ndani. Kenya Power percent yako iko ndani. Gulf Energy wakipewa mradi ya mafuta yako iko ndani. Boss. Si ukule moja basi alafu hizi ndio waje tu zipite. Kwa nini? As in why? You know.
Tumbo lisilo. So I need to release you soon.
Yes.
But I want to discuss Nairobi kidogo.
Yes.
So there's this incident of Patrick Analo, who's the Nairobi County Chief Officer for Urban Planning.
Yes.
Although I've never driven around Nairobi and saw any planning. But anyway, we'll come back to that. Yeah. So they initially reported that they seized 250 million.
Yes.
Then a few minutes later, we announced 65 million. Who knows what the figures are? Yeah. So as the Senator of Nairobi, what are you going to do about this issue?
Actually, this is a very interesting conversation because kwanza hiyo figures wanasema imefika 65 less handling charges na cash in transit. Najua pia lazima CIT charges, handling charges kabla itoke kwa nyumba yako ifike kwa police station. So, kuna hiyo. But number 2, what people need to understand is there is a difference between Senate oversight and criminal oversight. You see, the Senator of Nairobi has no mechanism of detecting criminality. If, for instance, director of planning amekuja amelambishwa ndio apitishe plans, the people with the tools to be able to detect that fraud is the DCI, the NIS. They have all those tools. They can see your conversations. They can follow all of those things. They have the tools to be able to say, there's criminality here. There is no way a person in my position can know if a bribe has been paid to a director of planning. How am I supposed to know? That is why everybody does their job. So what is the job of a senator? My job, first of all, is to push for resources to be allocated to Nairobi sufficiently, which is why every year we are fighting with the National Assembly and the President to allocate full resources to the counties. So for instance, walikuwa wamepropose 420 billion this year. Senate imekatalia 455 na sasa tuko kwa kitu inaitwa mediation. So it is between the National Assembly and the Senate, we come up with a figure. Sindio? We push that money to the county governments. I have a role to make sure that those resources are utilized for the benefit of the people of Nairobi. And that happens when these people come to the committees of the Senate. The committees of the Senate are broadcast live. We have had all those conversations. They are public conversations. And you have seen us holding governors to account, including the governor of Nairobi. In fact, he's coming to the Senate on the 19th before the County Public Accounts Committee.
Will he show up?
Now, that's up to him. That is another challenge that we have had. You have seen these guys saying that we are harassing them too much when we do our oversight. So they wrote a letter as the Council of Governors saying they will no longer appear before committees of the Senate. And they named Sifuna. Atimiwa na Waharas. And you see, the problem is very simple. I wish Kenyans understood the maximum powers all of us have. Because I see many of them. You are frustrated saying, Sifuna, you are we put you there. Why are you lamenting? Now, we have a situation where governors have ganged up and said they will no longer appear before the Senate. You know? The Constitution says, because I cannot arrest the governor myself, we bring the IG of police. He comes to the Senate. and we direct him because it is there in the constitution. We have powers to direct the IG to produce a witness before our committees.
Yeah.
So the warrant of arrest was out for Sakaja. You saw them outside his office waiting for him. And the governor of Samburu, there were 2 warrants of arrest. And we say, AG, bring these people to the Senate to account, And they don't show up. The maximum fine for not showing up in the Senate is 500,000, which is peanuts for these guys, So we sometimes face a lot of frustration. Ni uongo hata unajua ni uongo. So kitu inatushangaza ni but Sakaja prior to this letter from the COG, they have been appearing. Now wanasema tunawaras. Mtu anakuja, you see our oversight is done based on 2 documents, the Auditor General's report and the responses from the counties, because they are given the report and told you have 20 audit queries, how do you respond? They respond. Now a governor comes and there is an audit query that you took 10 million shillings from the county industrial project, county aggregation parks project, and you funded a border event with that 10 million. That is in the Auditor's General's report, right? And then she says herself that yes, tulitoa hiyo pesa tukaenda kupiga bashi ya boda. Now, when we question her, anasema we are harassing her. Na wakakataa kuja. For a long time there was a stalemate. And then wanasema lazima Sifuna atoke kwa hiyo public accounts committee kwa sababu huwa anatuharas. Tukawaambia
so asking questions is harassing.
That's what they are saying.
Is harassment.
That's what they are saying. They called us all sorts of names, Chaxy, But to me, people need to understand that criminality, everybody is subject to the law. If you receive a bribe, there is the criminal justice system that is supposed to deal with you. EACC has power to conduct raids on people's homes. Yeah. A senator cannot conduct a raid on Nani's house. Patrick Analo's house. In what capacity are you doing that? So we need all these institutions to function properly. If the county assembly functions properly, if the criminal justice system functions properly, this entire fight against corruption has to be fought by everyone. And that's why we are saying you have a leadership at the top, that it starts from the top. You have to demonstrate that this thing called corruption is no longer going to be tolerated. Now, the most hilarious thing I saw is that, you can blame Sifuna, for instance, saying, why has Sifuna not impeached Gachagua? Not Gachagua, Sakaja. I cannot initiate an impeachment process in the county assembly. And in fact, the last time they attempted to do it, they are the ones who were called. And I remember talking to them before that process, because they also told me, Sifuna, by the way, we want to start an impeachment against. I told them, that's your constitutional mandate. Do you have grounds? Proceed. But I warned them. I told them, I have seen you guys before. You always say this, then Sachs will run to Baba, and then you guys will back down. Are you guys sure this time you will not back down? Then they said, sai tumeamua.
Then what happened? Sachs ran to Baba
yes,
again.
Then what happened? Yeah. So this time around, it is not the governor for him. This time round is CEC for planning. And do you know who has the powers to impeach those CECs? Who has the powers to impeach a CEC?
Is it MCAs?
Yes. They don't even need the Senate. They don't need the Senate. So instead of an MCA tabling an impeachment motion against a CEC who has misbehaved, they are saying, Sifuna is quiet.
The most you can do is you can speak about it for now.
Yes. And allow the criminal justice process to go on. Because, this is not the first time they have arrested an officer from Nairobi and found them with the cash in the house. Millions of shillings. How do those cases end? How are the other ones resolved? Yeah? So, these MCAs, even these MCAs, and especially MCAs for Nairobi, we must get good quality MCAs. Good quality MCAs who are not always looking to pass the buck to the Senate. You must impeach people if you have grounds to impeach people. I have seen county assemblies like, I think it is
Meru?
Nandi. No, Nandi. Is it Nandi or Kericho?
Where?
Kericho, where they have brought their governor every time. It's almost like 4 times.
Even Meru walimleta mara ngapi?
Even Meru, although the case in Meru was totally different.
Yes.
Yeah? But you can see there are assemblies that can actually draft impeachment motions
and they see it through.
And they see it through.
Yeah.
You are telling me an MCA from Nairobi cannot write a motion that an MCA in Nandi can write.
Si wanalipo tu.
And then wanakuja kulia wanasema, Senate, Sifuna. Yani watu wanatakanga nishike huyo si mimi mwenyewe. Nirudishe pesa ya wananchi. It's not possible.
Okay. So 2 last questions, then release you. So it's now over 3 years now as Senator of Nairobi.
Yes.
Why do you think we still struggle with very basic things? Street lights.
Yeah.
Drainage.
Yeah.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Potholes.
Yeah.
And the list goes on.
Yeah, first of all, I don't want to make excuses for anyone because there's things that actually should have been done by now. I personally feel that the resources that we give to Nairobi, it's over 20 billion shillings from the exchequer alone. That is due through the division of revenue. And of course, the on-source revenue, I hear Sakaja sometimes beating his chest saying we have the highest on-source revenue since we started devolution in Nairobi. I think he talked of 13 billion. But there are certain basic things that, honestly speaking, sometimes it's difficult for us to explain why it has not been done. So, for instance, garbage in Nairobi is something that you can actually map out. The major ISOs for garbage are known. It is pipeline. Pipeline, kuna place ingine hapo kwa Rive, karibu na Enterprise Road, karibu na River Ngong hapo. Watu wamecomplain for years. Kwa sababu ya hiyo dumping hapo kwa Rive, unakuta kwamba hizo premises zao zina flood. Hao watu wako hapo road wote wana flood. Kuna garbage mound ingine hapa Kawangware imejaa mpaka imefunika nusu ya barabara. I was telling Babu that if he ever gets into that office, I want to see him, the first thing he does on day one. Aingie pipeline na maji na garbage collection trucks tuone kama hiyo place iwezi ngara.
It's not rocket science.
It's not rocket science, And we have seen, if you look at the audit of Nairobi, we can see the governor has purchased 30 garbage trucks, for instance. And then we have also contracted out people. And those people are told that you are going to be collecting garbage in zone A, zone B, zone D. But the county ones are not zoned. So people don't know where these vehicles operate. It was one of the audit queries and we will be asking him when he comes to the Senate next week. We will be asking him about those things. So there are challenges, yes, but also there are things you really can't run away from.
So it's a management issue.
It's a management issue. It's just a management issue. Then the challenge side, we are really strained when it comes to resources. Yeah. Bill ya Nairobi ya stima peke yake inatoshana na county allocations za place kama Lamu.
Yeah, the whole county.
Yeah, street lines peke yake. Because there is a uniqueness to Nairobi. There are places where, of course, the electricity bill cannot match the number of street poles that we have in Nairobi. So we have a law in Kenya called the Urban Areas and Cities Act. And it recognizes the unique nature of cities such as Nairobi as a seat of government, the diplomatic hub, and so on and so forth. And requires that the national government must supplement some of these things, So money is supposed to come from the national government and say, we are going to give you a grant to do your roads, for instance, or your water, and so on and so forth.
Is that money coming through?
It's not coming. That is the problem. Nairobi is owed billions of shillings by the national government. Some of these institutions, wewe unalipa land rates nini, bunge ilipi, the ministries don't pay, all sorts of things. Parking, wanachukua parking zetu, hawalipi. There are those challenges there. And if Nairobi was properly resourced, I think we would deal with some of these problems. Yesterday, we had the governor of Mombasa. And he was saying that because he's the chair of health committee, we have ring-fenced money for payment of CHPs. I think it's 8 or 9 billion shillings to go to the county specifically, ring-fenced to do what? To pay CHPs. Because CHPs have been oscillating between national government and county governments. But he's telling us that we should not ring-fence that money, we should put it in the general allocation, then they decide how to use it. We are tired as a Senate because we've gotten to a place, those guys are always demonstrating at our gate. And something else like payment of pending bills. We have people here who are owed money, contractors. Not every contractor is a con man. There are people who can demonstrate to you that they did work. But they have not been paid. They are pending bills from Kidero's era. Can you imagine? People have been auctioned, their businesses have been closed. If you had, for instance, taken trucks that you have gotten a contract for garbage collection, hizo trucks zilishakuwa repossessed, zimeuzwa, wewe mwenyewe umekuwa auctioned. Unaona? Hawataki kulipa our contractor suppliers. Unakuta mtu anakaa na list ya preferred suppliers, wale wameongea nao nyuma ya tent. Pesa ikikuja wanalipa mwenye ampatia ka kitu. So mpaka Senate tumefika mahali tuna feel to ring fence pesa ya kulipa contractors. Kwa sababu now how else do you do it? But wao governors wana feel ni kama tunaendelea kuwafunga mikono. But what else do you want us to do as a Senate? Because these problems are persistent. Tuseme, in fact, mimi nilikuwa nimeambia huko kwa Senate siku moja, pesa ya nini ya kulipa pending bills ikatiwe huku treasury. But you see also as a believer on devolution, we don't want the national government to micromanage counties. But we have a capacity problem. Na ukora mingi.
Ama mseme tu hivi basi, legalize corruption and then mseme sasa kama ni tenders hii ndio pesa unafaa kulipa, then pia mtax your corruption.
Hatuwezi fika hiyo.
Mseme tu ni illegal, mseme
hatuwezi fika hiyo stage. I'm telling you, Chaxy, it is possible to fight corruption. See that it totally eliminate it, but level tumefika, it is just too much.
Yeah, now it's on our faces.
It's just too much.
Like
yeah,
you can't do anything
too much.
about it.
I remember Baba used to ask, what was wrong with the 10%? What was wrong with the 10%? Ukisikia barabara imejengwa iko safi, lakini mtu alikula 10%, nasema ni sawa. Saa ile level tumefika, mtu anakula 200%, barabara haiko, lakini alilipwa.
Kuna zingine kama ni Eurobond hata zikufika
hata
walikula huko.
Yeah, so unajiuliza hiyo level tumefika, it's unsustainable. But it starts from the top. You know, the person at the top is the one who sends the vibes.
Definitely.
Me, I remember when Kibaki was elected, the vibe in this country was very different. Watu walikuwa wanajua kuna vitu ufala zingine tunaenda kusimamisha, hauwezi fanya. Lakini sasa kama number 1 mwenyewe ndio mwizi. Yeye mwenyewe kila mtu anajua, si kila mtu anajua percent yake iko hapo. Mbona mimi nisitishe yangu? Hata mimi nataka yangu. Kuanzia kwa chief kwenda kwa MCA, MP, kila mtu anataka kati yake. So inakuwa vigumu sana. But I think ile level tumefika, we need to agree kwamba it's unsustainable.
Yeah, things can't continue.
We can't continue like this. Yeah.
Your team wants you to talk about the rally in Thika, yeah.
Why? Are they the hosts? Simufungue podcast yenu.
Uongeje ya mambo ya Thika huko?
No, I mean, what am I supposed to say about Thika? We want the people to show up.
When is it?
It's on the 14th of this month, which is next Sunday. And we are hoping that people can show up. You know, Thika used to be a proper industrial town, yeah? But if you go there, because of systemic mismanagement of the economy, the high taxation, people are pulling their businesses out. Because even employers come and talk to us that if I was able to afford 10 workers, now wameongeza SHA, wameongeza ingine housing levy, I can only afford to pay an NHIF for 2. If we were 2, I can only pay for 1.
Yeah.
And many industries have fled Kenya because of the taxation regime that has been imposed. So I saw even in this finance bill that, and Konji is the accountant, that they are reducing the amount of time that you are required to file your returns from 6 months to 4 months. I think by 2 months. What that does is that it puts a lot of pressure on businesses to be able to come up with their books. And then also, they are creating opportunity for people to default so that they can start penalizing them to earn penalties. It's just ridiculous, Bana. You know, people come to our offices and you see if just one industry shuts down, because you've mismanaged cashew nuts, just one industry.
The ripple effect.
Because we have mismanaged our relationship with other countries. We have lost tea markets in Sudan. We have lost tea markets in Iran. Yes, I mean, unasikia kampuni ilikuwa na employ watu 50 imefungwa. And those are many families. They're also going to be affected. So there are real stories of what bad rule and mismanagement can do in Thika. You go there and you see it's the same story in Changamwe. If you went to Changamwe used to be
when the refinery was there?
Yes, the refinery was there. And many other industries. I was there for the public participation when we were doing the Lake Turkana oil field development plan. And they told us, Sifuna, how are we using the Changamwe storage to just store crude so that ikitoshea meli moja tunaipeleka iende kuwa refined. And yet, you see, these guys lived through an era where Kenya used to refine product here.
Crude,
and they were employed and they were good, meaningful jobs in industry. I met many young people there who they are no longer young anyway, but they used to be engineers in that plant and so on and so forth. So Thika is
people in Rongo will tell you the same thing.
Thika is a proper example of what mismanagement and misrule can do to a country, and we will be hoping that we can have those conversations with the people of Thika, see how we can be able to revive. There are big issues in Thika, including the squabble over the land in Del Monte. Yeah, there are many issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we are past the time we are accorded by 15 minutes.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I think we are done.
Okay. So we have.
Is there anything we have not spoken about?
It's impossible to finish.
Yeah,
but we'll save those for the next time you come.
Yes.
Plus there'll be more to discuss.
Yeah, when I come back here in 2 years, I think we will be
the conversation will
totally
be different.
Totally different conversation, boss. Yeah. But I hope that you guys will still be here. I hope that you will use your platform to also mobilize people to understand that we are in an enormous historical moment where we need to make precedent that this country, if we put you in leadership and decide to do your own things, you just go home.
Yes.
Yeah, it's that simple. And it is important for this country. Future generations will remember this moment and say, this is the moment when Kenyan democracy was given a jump start.
Yeah.
So please be alive to see the moment. Please be part of the moment.
We will be.
Tukiwaambia mkuje kupiga kura, wewe kwanza uanze na kujua constituency yako.
Hata ajui
polling station yako ni gani? Mwass, tukue serious.
The last time nilihama.
Ona sasa.
But uhamishe penye huko. Mimi nilienda kuhamisha yangu. Because sasa nilikuwa side za KU because of school.
Yes.
And now I don't stay there anymore.
Yeah.
Nilienda kuhamisha kwanza nikapata 2 of my names are wrong in the system.
Yes.
Na zilikuwa vizuri when I registered mpaka nikavote.
Yeah.
Sasa mpaka nauliza, okay, hii system, like how is it that 2 of my names ziko wrong?
Missing.
Is it assigned to someone else? Then wakaniambia sasa what I need to do is I need to do a transfer first.
Yeah.
Then once the transfer is done, then now I can go change.
Yeah.
I'm like, so you can't change the names in the same system. Like lazima ufanye transfer, then ungoje 2 months, then ukuje change. I mean,
so there will be a period for all those things in terms of registration, verification of your voter details. And there will also be a period where the window is open for you to transfer. Transfer your vote to somewhere where you actually live and you will be. Because the people you vote, can you imagine you live in Nairobi and you are determining the MCA for Halaba Ward or in Isebania. And when that guy is misbehaving there, you are not suffering the consequences of bad leadership in that area. It's very unfair to other residents of other areas when you run away and vote there and then you come back. So in terms of making it easy for you to vote, you should vote as near as possible to where you live and ensure that even your friends and relatives and your neighbors also go out and vote because this is going to be a very consequential election. We want people not to listen to these naysayers who say that they are going to steal the election. The election is not going to be stolen because there will be grave consequences if anyone tries to steal the will of the people. Yeah. But first of all, you must show up and vote. We as the political class know what exactly needs to be done. First, we need a message and a platform that can convince and persuade Kenyans to show up and support us. Number 2, we will put in place systems to ensure that as far as possible, we maintain the integrity of the elections. And then most importantly is that when we find ourselves, if by the grace of God, we find ourselves in these spaces, not to forget who we are, what we promised, and make sure that we deliver for the people so that we can restore some faith in leadership in this country, in the people.
And change some things.
And change a few things here and there. I usually tell people, like now, those people who are running to be president or governor or whatever it is, the executive roles, don't run around telling people you will do 10 things in Nairobi. In Nairobi, even if you just sorted out our garbage problem, Kenyans will remember you. They'll be saying there was a governor called Sifuna who sorted out garbage and this is why the streets in Nairobi are clean. Just 2-3 things, Chaxy. If you did that, sorted out traffic. Now, I don't know who this genius is who decided that the biggest problem in Nairobi is speeding. Where? when we are stuck in traffic, at what point are we speeding? We are sitting on Thika Road. I have people here who live in Sukari. I feel very bad for them.
Yeah.
I feel terrible. Like, hey, mko na shida.
Jam inaanza nje ya gate.
Hapo kwa estate.
Thika Road, I want you to teach me a patience. I don't have it.
Yeah, so somebody sits somewhere and says the biggest problem for Thika Road is speeding. You know? And then alafu wanasema sasa tuende 50 kph wote na tunaendanga 10.
I think maybe I'll close by saying, Sifuna, I think you have the goodwill of the people.
Thank you, boss.
And I think it puts you in a very special place.
Yeah.
There's a lot of us who believe that you'll make the right choice. So as you do easy collisions, because it's a collision. In Kenya, it's politics in collision too. My wish is that you guys align with the right people. Because previously, and we should not ignore history, by aligning with the wrong people, it's just not worked.
Yeah.
So all the best.
No, we hear you.
And 2 years from now, tutatafutana tena.
Yeah, nice.
2 years ago, that's when we start. Okay, 2 years tutatafutana tena.
So that will be in what?
2028. Maybe hata tutaifanya 2027 after elections. Wacha tuone.
Tutaifanya 2028. Usikue greedy ba.
Hata mimi niko greedy. Na hizi magazeti zisiache kukuja. I'll leave my address kila asubuhi nikitoka gym nilikuwa nazipata.
Unajua unaperuzi tu ndio ujue nini inaendelea.
I read this, man. All the best.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate it, man.
Asante.
Anyway, Sifuna episode 368. We are
my chick.
Over 26. This is
This is the Brunch Club. Over 26.
welcome back to
The mics are closed.
Now, when you watch it, you'll understand.